Hi, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Inland Wetlands Watercourse Commission dated September 18th. It's 7:02 p.m. to order. Roll call, Stephen Molinelli, Chair, present. Russ Davenport, absent. Jeffrey Lippincott.
Present.
Frank Oliveri.
Present.
Gary Paganelli.
Present.
Matt Clausen.
Present.
Jamie Colligan.
Present.
Mary Ann Marino.
Present.
And we have a vacancy, if anyone is interested. Next order of business, under agenda review. Anybody with anything? I'd like to, be sure that we don't start any new business after 10 p.m. this evening. I think we have an agenda where we can accomplish that, but, so let's put that on the record. Approval of minutes for the August 21st meeting. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes for August 21st, 25.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any changes to the minutes? Anybody?
My name is spelled wrong.
I'm sorry.
My
Jen-
last name is spelled wrong. It's
Your
only
last
one
name
L.
is spelled
but-
wrong.
That means you're always innocent.
So you're gonna have to abstain because we don't know who you are. Two
We'll
L,
spell
one,
Jeremy
it
for you.
should only be one L?
One L.
Okay. We'll note that for the record. All those in favor of approval? Becomes unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Go over here. Next order of business, we have a public hearing, Inland Wetlands Watercourse Commission 25-18. The applicant is Sean Stanziali. The location is 504 East Wakefield Boulevard. I'm concerned about the proposal on the agenda as it's written, because the proposal, the way it's written, says that the demolition of an existing house, an attached garage, construction of a new house with an attached garage, removal and replacement of the retaining walls, remove and replace patio, regrade site, adjust driveway configuration, remove and reconstruct lake wall and steps, remove concrete and stone jetty, construct new walkways, install boat lift, jet ski, lift, and a dock. Do you want that all on the proposal agenda for tonight, or is there stuff that you'd like to eliminate?
Well,
Talk louder, only because of this.
would you like to come up? So
Yeah, please.
I would like to be able to,
Come on up.
Sean Stanziel, 504 East Wakefield Boulevard. I would like to consider everything. We do have the engineer that's representing the town and the soil scientist that's here as well in regards to the jetty.
All right, we're only concerned with your waterfront. Anything else that pertains to the waterfront we'll deal with. But in terms of the demolition of the house and the garage, that would be ZBA issues, and we have no say in that. That's why I asked if you want to address everything.
Well, I mean, can we get an approval and make it contingent upon a ZBA approval?
We can move ahead with your waterfront consideration for approval, and then where you go with the approval or not approved, you'll move forward wherever you want.
And can we do a full property approval for everything? And then, if it's approved, make it contingent upon the ZBA approval? And the only consideration I'm asking for is, we only meet once a month, and ZBA always meets after, well, so I wouldn't even get a building permit probably until 2026 because if, after this meeting, I will be going to a ZBA meeting in October, which means I'll be coming back to a wetlands meeting in November, right?
But I think, and maybe some of the commissioners can correct me, that the issues that are before ZBA are important to you and to us to consider, but we would be more interested in the rain gardens and runoffs and things of that sort, which wouldn't change our decision on your waterfront. I don't think it would. Jeff, am I correct in that assumption, or is that a?
Yeah, staff was under the impression that we were gonna just focus on the waterfront after we last met. It is possible to get a wetlands approval before a ZBA approval. However, if they then disapprove or something changes, you may have to come back and modify wetlands again. It also gets very messy for, you know, the file and keeping track of things. But you can if you want to.
What can we do? You confused me.
You can approve the whole shebang if we want to go through it, waterfront and upland, but I don't recommend it.
I'm not, anybody, any feelings about that? Frank, anything?
I would think we just
Talk
talk.
louder so we
I'm
can
sorry.
hear.
I would say we just deal with the lake wall and steps and the jetty. That deals with the lake.
Okay, anybody? Matt?
I don't think
Jeff?
anything past the 100-foot upland review
Yeah.
area, we don't need to discuss.
I agree.
That's out of our jurisdiction.
Right.
Would we consider that, this is coming to me that we can't, we have the engineer, obviously, and the soil scientist. Will the engineer need to be here for any other meetings that we would have to go through?
If we limit our considerations tonight to the waterfront and what you're asking for on, between the wall and the water, you know, I can't, you know, that area, that would be at your decision whether or not anything happens with ZBA, which would necessitate coming back here again. So you may need your engineer. I don't
Well,
want to.
not my engineer, the one that's here to represent you guys, so, you know, that was the last request to have him
I
at the
think
next meeting.
I think if we're comfortable with his input for the waterfront, and then you somehow receive approval from ZBA or whatever you want to get approved, and he reviews it and says he's okay with what you submitted, and he may provide some recommendations, then it may not be necessary for him. Well, I'm really concerned about the waterfront, you know, and how whatever you do on the water, we deal with. And if there's something that's in the upland review area within the 100 feet of the lake, then your engineer would submit documentation, it would be reviewed. And if our engineer says you're good to go with that, then we're okay with that. Is that, we're clear on that issue?
Yeah, I guess, so that still means that if there wouldn't be an approval, so if I go through ZBA in October, which would be after the wetlands meeting, I would still be coming back to a November's meeting?
Only for
to-
the house.
Only for
Yeah.
the property within the upland review area. I think your urgency, in my opinion, is with a deep drawdown, you want to get started on anything that pertains to the waterfront.
Yeah, I mean, it would be much more costly to get the equipment there for that, and then 2 months later get the equipment to do my house, but that's my problem, I guess.
You know, that was one of my concerns. I'll bring up my concerns. Why don't you talk to us and,
So,
just for the record, come up, introduce yourself, talk louder because of the mic system here.
Kyle Case, KCC Consulting, the engineer on the project.
Okay. We in sync, Jeff?
We are.
Okay.
letters from my neighbor, Mike Gonzalez, my neighbor, to the south of me with approvals to access our property through his property for any work that needs to be done, so we have a letter that
Okay.
he'd given us.
Has anybody seen it other than right now?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, you can pass it around, this way we have
In
it.
case there was any concern of it.
Well, you know, that was one of the questions I was gonna raise with the construction, ability to whatever. Thank you.
Just talking,
We're ready.
yep, talking the lake frontage.
Yeah.
So our demolition plan, we were proposing to remove the jetty, and last time we were here. We were asked to come up with a plan sheet showing the details and processes for that. And so here's the proposed jetty with our removal sequencing. Everything should be done in the dry during the deep lake drawdown. We'll have the coir logs to prevent any runoff from the work itself, protecting it from the rest of the lake. And the process was gonna be to saw cut the concrete slab on the top and remove it in small 20 square foot pieces or less. Just with a regular larger size excavator that has the reach to reach out over from the edge of the yard area at the base of the property. All this material is gonna be removed off-site and can't be stockpiled or remain on site during the process. So then, I know there was questions about what the structure of the existing jetty is. So I don't have a firm answer as if there's a footing or not under it, but provided that there is, we're proposing to leave a majority of that and just, if it's below grade, just cover it with material matching the existing lake bed. If it's above, we'll hammer down and remove it to below grade and then cover with the material that's like the material that's currently there. Level it off, and then no equipment within the lake. And just here's a generic profile of what's to be removed. So I'll have the concrete slab coming off in pieces, the stone being removed, and then the lake wall that'll be removed as well. And then we have here the soil mixture based on some samples that Mr. Stanzial was able to dig up with like a beach pail from the lake bed there, and it's sandy soil. So that's what we're proposing to match it with based on the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation Form 819 specifications in their materials section, match it for the fine aggregate there. And Chris is here tonight and he can speak to the soil mixture in a better, more in depth than I can. Do you want him to speak to that now, or?
Your comfort level.
Yeah. Chris, come on.
Hey.
Please, introduce yourself.
Chris,
You want to take a chair if you'd like?
I can stand.
Okay.
Just helping out Kyle as a sub on this job. I guess there was some talk about what was the lake bed made up here. Like I said, on the samples base, it's pretty much sand. So we're looking to replace it with light material. I think there's a lot of benefits for that. I have them down. I don't know if you want to get into it, but you know they're really good for oxygenation of the water, good for fish spawning. I mean, you're not going to put something that's not there back in place.
I'm sorry, did that?
You're not going to put something that's not there back in place. So again, this would be a sandy substrate back.
And you excavated the soil samples?
I just went on what was excavated by the property owner.
All right. Obviously, my preference would have been if you actually did it, you know, so, but
I mean, I can
it's
take
done
that.
what it is now.
Well, see the makeup of the chemistry of that soil profile. If it's sand, it's sand. You know. But
Tom, you have any reactions to this?
Well, I asked him.
And for the record, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, Tom Grimaldi, consulting, town engineer. I had asked them to do this plan and provide more detail, give us some methods and means. The only additional thing I was thinking is that he was requiring no more than 15% clay silt in the mixture. So the material should be, it's gonna have to be mixed and it should be tested, maybe a hydrometer test to provide, to make sure that there's no more than the 15% clay and silt in the mixture as he's requesting. So there'll have to be a third-party independent lab. I have not done my final report yet, but I will add that in as a condition of approval.
So that would be a recommendation for approval.
That would be a recommendation for approval.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, since we really don't know what's in there, there should be some oversight as to what's actually gonna take place during that construction. So when they, during the demolition, when they remove the wall and they start working on the footing, it would be nice for the town to know, what is it? Do they need to take it completely out? Is it above grade? Is it 3 feet into grade? Because even if it was on top of grade at one point, the material's gonna wash up against it and bury it. So I think it's important for the town to know what's going on out there and maybe give them some input while they're out there doing this demolition work. And at that point, they're really not gonna know the quantities of material they're gonna need. So that's gonna, that demolition's gonna have to take place, and they're gonna have to determine the quantity. The design engineers are gonna have to determine the quantity of material. It's gonna have to be mixed. And then it's gonna have to be tested, and it's gonna have to go back in, so timing is gonna be critical.
Do you know how far out the water will recede with this drawdown?
Yeah, it probably goes at least 20 to 30 feet past it. The last, I purchased the home the year it was drawn down, and you can walk by my jetty, and so it's more than 20 feet past my jetty at the last drawdown 5 years ago.
Okay, so assuming it's gonna be similar, then you would have ample time to address the issues that Tom just raised.
Yeah, so what I'm
Because the
envisioning
water will
is-
start to come up,
Yeah.
I think January, they close the gates, is that?
Might close a little sooner this year because they need more replenishment time. I forget the exact schedule. Do you know, Mary Ann? Yeah.
For some reason, whatever, you'd
I
have
don't
probably
envision
2
it-
months.
I don't envision the jetty taking more than a few days to.
Could you address, I see this letter, I didn't read it, what does it mean to us?
But just that, any access that needs to, like for a machine to get in there, that the Gonzalez gave full authorization to have. You can theoretically drive a pickup truck right up to our seawall.
From his property?
From his property.
Which, from
Right.
your property, you need a helicopter.
That's right, but he gave me full access
We
for,
were
through all
there, and I'm
construction.
saying there's no way, and
Without
Gary,
the house-
Gary
with the house
disagreed.
there.
He
With
said
the-
we can do it.
With the house there, without the house there, yes, there would be no problem with the house there.
I don't wanna be the driver of that
I've driven
vehicle.
an excavator down steeper. It's
All
not-
right, but you have permission.
I do have permission to
Okay.
access all equipment for the repair of the wall and the construction during the construction process for the home.
Okay.
Is it a repair of the wall, or is it complete?
It's a
replacement?
complete replacement.
So the plan is to remove the whole wall, the jetty, and replace
The
the
truth
lake
is,
bed?
I hope this is my last time I ever have to come, so I just don't wanna repair it, I wanna make sure everything's perfect, you know, one time,
Yeah,
do it right.
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Tom, did you review the plans for the wall itself?
I did not have a chance to do that yet.
Okay. Do you have enough information to look at it and
Yeah, I
make
think
a decision?
everything's there. I took a look at it yesterday and part of today. I have a good sense, nothing jumped out at me that was alarming. Oh, no, they can't do this, can't do that. The wall itself is pretty straightforward. The biggest thing that I had concerns, and I told Kyle this, that we didn't have any point source discharges going directly into the lake. So I was more concerned about that than the wall itself, you know? So obviously the wall, what I need to do is take a closer look at it, and what's the height of the wall?
Roughly between 4 and 5 feet.
4 and 5 feet. So now you start getting into that gray area. Do we need a structural engineer to weigh in on the integrity of the wall, on the wall design. The wall's gonna be all, stone and mortar.
And you're bringing the stone in?
Yes.
And you have weep holes in the wall to reduce hydraulic pressure.
I did not have that. I'll add that.
Yeah, so, you know, we may ask as a condition of approval to have the wall design reviewed by a structural engineer, just to make sure that it's gonna be fine. We obviously don't want the wall falling into the lake.
I mean, I think realistically, if it has to go before a structural engineer to come back to us, this project is not gonna get done in a timely
I
manner.
don't think it needs,
I'm
in
just,
my opinion.
it's just, the engineers are busy.
Yeah,
You
no, I
know,
understand
we
that.
have to either close the public hearing tonight or get written permission from the applicant to keep it open one more month. So we're like between a rock and a hard place time-wise.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's two separate things here. The wetland approval and the structural engineer. So, I mean, obviously, the ultimate say is the commission, but just to ensure that the wall has a proper base, it's got a batter on it, it's a weighted wall. So, you know, somebody, a structural engineer, which I am not qualified, should at least take a look.
Is it part of your plan, the structure of the wall?
Yeah, I have detail on that.
So typically, that stuff is done at the building department level. So site plans are approved all the time with retaining walls. And one of the conditions of approval is that structural engineer review it and provide a signed sealed plan. And the building official usually inspects that.
So with 16 inches at the top and then 3 feet at the bottom with the batter that Tom mentioned. The only thing that I didn't show was the weep holes, this, to reduce the pressure behind the wall.
And Gary, you would know, backfill behind the wall and everything?
Well, me personally, I would backfill with stone, put a Merathi cloth up against the dirt, and let the water run through weep holes. You know, just 3/4 inch stone,
Yep.
foot wide or
Right.
something like that, so the hydraulic pressure stays even to the lake.
How much of the wall's gonna be exposed above the lake elevation?
Above the ordinary, it's 1.5 foot above the lake elevation.
You'd have to have your weep holes would have to be above the water,
Right, and there's really no good.
so. The nice thing about that is it's pretty stable when the water's up. What you worry about is when they draw a lake down, just to be sure.
When Gary and I and Jeff, during the week, we reviewed your blueprints and everything, there was some discrepancy with numbers.
Okay.
Gary, you wanna talk to that?
On your schedule, you still have 78 foot, not 70. You didn't revise that. You didn't
You're
put-
talking, yeah, the wetlands.
The width of the waterfront,
Yeah.
you're about
Went down to 69.
Right,
69.
I changed the number, I didn't get it in the table.
You didn't do your calculation on
Yeah,
on that.
right.
And you did, for us, and for Jeff, you didn't put a revision date
Okay.
on it, you know, which would be,
Yeah.
which is, that to me is kind of minor, but.
Right.
I think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
When we were out there, we measured the water into the pier, it was only 3.5 feet of water out there. So I don't know how much it covers, it's probably only 3 feet of water at the wall.
Yeah, the water's not very,
The water's very shallow. I went over the spillway today, and there's just barely some water, so, but that's the height, that's the height.
Yeah, I didn't see anything else anything else plan-wise that jumped on?
Let's talk about what you want to put in the water and what you want to take out of the water. And you're gonna work with 69 plus or minus feet,
We'll work with this.
okay?
Yep.
So, what you need to talk to us about is, you want a boat lift, you want jet skis, you want this, you want that. You can't have more than a drop under 35 feet of occupancy in the water. So tell us how you're gonna get to that 35 feet number.
So you've got the 10-foot dock, the 10-foot boat lift, so that gets us to the 20. And then, the jet ski lift is 12, so that brings us to the 32.
Okay.
So that keeps us under
All right.
the 35.
And that's provided we give you approval to pull out the concrete dock. Otherwise, you're limited. Okay.
And it's removal of the trampoline too, that used to be on the old plans.
Yeah, well, that's not on the
Yeah, right,
application,
right.
so,
We had a question about that too, when we're standing on your deck, there's a buoy sticking out there.
yeah.
All right, that was your buoy for your trampoline?
Yes.
So that's gonna come out, the buoy. Okay. All right, so I think what's in front of us is if the applicant is successful in us granting him approval for the dock, the pontoon, the boat lift, the double jet ski lift, he's at 32 and a half feet, give or take a little bit, one way or the other. That means that in order for us to approve it, he has to pull out that concrete pier, or we have to leave the concrete pier and he has to do something else. He can't have more than 34 and a half feet, give or take. So that's what's in front of us.
I have a
So,
question.
go ahead.
If you did do your seawall over, you did put your new dock, new jet ski lift, or new boat lift, what would you be, what, if you had to leave that pier in, what would you do with it?
I don't know, I mean, would the pier act as the same as if you had a dock in the water so if you had a 10-foot dock and you had access to your 10-foot dock, would the pier act as the same?
We count the footage.
Yeah, you got the width.
We count the
So
width.
you count the 4 and the 10 at the end?
No, we only count the 10 at the end.
So,
Because the 4 is part of the 10 at the end.
Right.
It's a T.
so aren't I
It's
just
not-
32?
What's that?
Whether the jetty's there or not, aren't I still 32?
If you have you're putting in a new dock,
Oh, meaning so I was saying if I'm moving it, I see what you're saying. If I left the jetty there and I moved the dock over, yeah, I guess that would negate, the whole plan was so that I have the ability to use the other side of the dock with the jetty there. It would really, so right now, if I wanted to park on
You
that
can't.
side. Yeah, right now I would be into possibly the littoral space with the boat.
you're in his waterfront.
Yeah, so that's really the goal, is
Right.
to be able to be
So you'd
a
have
better
both sides
neighbor.
of the dock
Yeah.
to access.
Right, that's really.
Right.
It's really for when a guest comes, it's not to park a boat there, but when a guest comes by. Right now, I don't have a really
Right.
good plan, so that's really,
I guess my question was, if you had all your new stuff,
yeah.
you're not gonna maintain that jetty.
Well, yeah, the jetty, I mean, it is saying, I mean, the jetty is, I'm gonna be coming in front of you 5 or 10 years from now to ask for a repair permit.
Not us.
Well,
Not us. Not us.
Yeah, so the thing is, I would just wanna do it right, get, and.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
that's really the plan,
Yeah,
is just to do this right, and it is, it's not, I mean, it's 70 years old. It's been patched, it's never been done right, so.
All right, you have, from your perspective, anything else to add before we ask for anybody in the audience? Is there anybody on the commission has any direct questions that you can think of right now? And just as a committee, let's remember that we need the applicant's permission to keep the public hearing open, or if we're satisfied it's gonna close, and we're gonna vote with whatever we have. Okay, so if you have anything, we can call them back, but if you have anything now. Anybody? Matt, you good?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
satisfied to this point.
Tom, anything to add right now?
And now, but, you know, there will be a series of conditions of approval.
And stick around to give them to us if it happens. You guys have anything else to? Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak to the application? All right, 2 hands went up. One of the 2 of you come up. Doesn't matter. Yeah, let them. Thank you.
Good evening, Stephen. I'm John Pollock, and that's my brother Frank Pollock. I'm the other half owner. And
Okay.
We're from,
Please speak louder so we can hear. Go ahead, John.
we're from 502 East Wakefield Boulevard. Before we get started, if Sean decided to leave the jetty there, which I think is a good idea, and I'm going to explain why, I'd have no problem with whatever he wants to do with, obviously with the lakefront, moving his dock over and everything else like that. So I just want to make that proposal. But before I get started, I wanted to say that one of the problems with the jetty with taking the jetty out is going to be the lake bed. We don't know what's underneath the lake bed with the jetty. I don't know, you must have remembered Fred Ivets, obviously. I helped him a couple of times with his jetty, and I should pass this out first.
This is something different than this.
Of course. I spent a lot of time on this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe follow
Thank
it
you.
down. Okay, one of my concerns about moving the jetty is just in number one. He has a shed down there, and it's 10 feet away from the lakeside and 7 feet on the north side. And then right next to the jetty, there's stairs that's going down, which is 8 feet. I don't really know what type of a crane he's gonna use, or who the contractors are, or how that's gonna be done. The big thing is it's right on my property line or the littoral boundary. And so, I don't know, is it possible for him to cross over to my property line or my littoral boundary to take it out? That's one of my questions. When Fred and I worked on it about 32 years ago, he had a problem with his foundation, and we went down at least 1 or 2 feet, and we had to work on the rocks down there, so he definitely has footing down there. It took us quite a while, and the way I remember it was that Fred injured his arm moving the rocks on the lake bed and underneath it. Number 5, these large rocks in the jetty were around 1 to 2 feet in size, and they were a mixture of various stones, shale stones with sharp edges, which are still visible today. These stones are embedded in the lake 70 years plus, and it will be next to impossible to move without heavy equipment. Stones will be too large to hammer down 3 inches. Most of them will remain above the lake bed, and rebar was also used in the jetty for strength, and this is going to make it even more difficult to remove. The footing, if the footing is left in the lake bed, that's my major concern. It's going to cause major safety issues, such as a person possibly hitting their head or their feet on the exposed stone. If a small child dives into the lake head first and hits their head on the unexposed rocks footing, a serious injury can occur. Children and adults always fool around by the water and push each other, and as a result, an accident can happen, such as a skull injury, a broken ankle, or a foot injury. Also, the thing that sort of bothers me is Sean wants to raise his wall up to 5 feet. And if he raises it up to 5 feet, the water in front of his wall is only 3 feet. So if you have 5-foot wall jumping into 3 feet of water and landing on the better concrete footing, it could result in serious injury, crippling injury, or even death. And then if that's the case, somebody's gonna get sued, a lawsuit against the property owner and possibly the town for allowing this negligent project to go forward to be approved, may ensue. So if somebody needs to jump into the lake to rescue a child or an adult, not knowing where the concrete footings lie, they could also get seriously injured. Number 7, the town needs to wake up and not allow a wish request. Sean's jetty needs to remain where it is, and I'm saying that the inlands, wetlands can't allow him to move his 40-foot dock, his boat lift, his ski jet closer to the south side, so everybody will have something to gain. When the property is sold, the new owners, nobody's gonna live forever. So when the property is sold, the new owners will not be aware of the covered up lake bed problem. Future property owners have the right to know up front what is being covered up, where the property lines are, and where the littoral lines are. And after this, I'm gonna discuss the cove method. This is not the case here. We have 2 different surveys, a survey from my property, 502, a survey from Sean's, 504, and the cove method calculation is incorrect since the starting point, the high water mark, they had 78 feet, and the correct amount is 69 inches, so they were off by 9 feet, and the cove method says that there's 11.5%. It's off by 11.5%. The other thing is the swimming area. If he takes the jetty out, I'm thinking, not really on our side, but I'm thinking on his side, and I'm thinking for the good of the public and the citizens. You always have kids running around. My brother has a couple of grandkids, and we have a lot of friends come over, and they're small, and you can't watch kids 24 hours a day, and they could just jump in there and push somebody in there and to land on the footing. The footing's gonna be large. I figured it was supposed to be 6 feet times 30 feet of concrete, stone, rocks, or rebar covered with 3 inches of a material. I don't know what kind of material it would be, but it'll probably wash away with the underground lake currents over time. We need to make an agreement with both parties, both of our parties can live with for the future. Sean and the Pollocks have to have reasonable use to their lakefront property. The other thing that I don't want people to forget is when he purchased the house in 2020, he didn't pay that much for the house or the property. He only paid around $315,000 for it. And when he did that, he got a ski boat, he got a large metal dock, and he got a boat lift. And he was aware of the problems with the jetty, or maybe not at that time, but he knew that the jetty was there, and he knew it was on my littoral line. Now there's issues with the high water mark, the property line, the littoral boundary, and the calculation of the cove method. Sean bought the property at the right time and got a great price, but not with enough lakefront property to do what he wants now. His personal problem, which he has to make adjustments to. Most of the homeowners in our cove acquired 2 lots when they built. The inlands, wetlands needs to make their decisions on facts and safety and not personal wishes. Removing the jetty is a dangerous, destructive plan just to gain 4 more feet of the lakefront. Removing the jetty needs to be disapproved. And then on the next page, I have from the regulations from the inlands, wetlands. It says in no event should a permit be granted that will result in crossing of the littoral boundary. That's on the last page over here. And I just have a couple more things that I just wanted to go through. Just in case we forgot what the jetty looked like, I just wanted to pass it around. Here's, maybe you could just pass it around later, Mary Ann. Here's the new jetty that was repaired on the bottom. It's in very good shape.
Pass it, I'll take it.
And it'll probably outlast all of us. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was the survey. I was a little bit disappointed to hear that there was a problem with the high water mark. And disappointed, meaning that it wasn't 78 feet, it was 69 feet.
We know that, John.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just showing it over here, Steve.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay, good, okay. And the other thing here is the size of the jetty. He has the size of the jetty as 111 square feet, and it's much larger than that. It's probably closer to 180 square feet. So that sort of teed me off.
Right? Yeah, we know that.
Okay.
That, John, Gary spoke to the engineer
Right.
on that issue where, you know, the survey or the engineer's report is inaccurate and they recognize that.
Okay, good. All right, and then here's the big thing. I went on AI, and it says specifically, I asked the question, okay, so let me just explain one thing. If we had 78 feet and the correct amount was 69 feet, then there's a 9 feet difference. If you divide 9 feet by 78 feet, it comes out to be 11.5%. So he's off by 11.5%. And I asked, I went on the computer and I asked the question, if the lake high water mark is wrong by 11%, is the cove method littoral affected? And the answer is yes. It says that 11% error in the high water mark will significantly affect the littoral determination using the cove method. The entire mapping of the littoral boundaries in the cove is based on establishing accurate reference points. Inaccurate high water marks throw off the measurements completely. And let me pass this out. It basically says that we're way off on the cove method over there, and as a result of that, that means that his jetty probably is more on my side than what it was before. It really gives a great explanation. It says that all the boundary lines will be skewed. The cove method involves establishing a new outer line, and the cove method relies on the shoreline. The cove method, like other methods for the littoral boundaries, establishes property lines in the water by extending them from specific points on the shoreline. The starting points for these measurements is the high water mark, and the high water mark should be 69 feet, not 78 feet. So to me, that's...
That was just a frontage number, John.
Pardon?
That was just a frontage number. That wasn't a high water mark number, that was his frontage number. He went from 78 foot
Yes.
on his plan that they calculated out, okay, because they took into consideration a return part that went to Gongalves's property.
Yeah, right.
So when they reduced that, it came down to 69 foot of frontage, nothing to do with high water, low water, anything. But on top of that, if you look in that cove, everybody has walls, so your high water isn't gonna change. It's not gonna go back on the properties. There's no change in the format of the dimension of the lake in the cove. Everybody has a wall.
Right,
Not a
everybody.
soul in there, so when they're saying in a situation, I understand where you're going, but in a situation that you're talking about, it means an area that is free of walls to where the water can come up, and it deviates your calculation for your littoral boundaries. Here, it can't because everything's walled in. But there's no difference here of 78 foot to 69 as far as high water.
Okay,
At
but the
all.
question is, I'm talking about the littoral boundary.
That's what we're
The
talking about.
69
Yes.
feet creates the littoral boundary on both sides. Your side and Gonzalez's side.
Right.
Based on that, we're determining what the applicant is entitled to put in the water and footage.
Right.
Again, as Gary said, it doesn't change the high water mark at all. All it says is if he had 78 foot, he could put more stuff in the water.
Right.
By the half foot, by the half.
Yes, right.
Half,
That's correct, yes.
frontage rule, but he only has 69, so he's more limited than less limited, let's put it that way. And I'm confused in the sense that I think your opening statement was tonight
Yes.
that you supported taking the jetty down.
No. No, we didn't say that at all. I want to keep the jetty there. I don't want to take the jetty down. I'm saying that if you take the jetty down, there's gonna.
I know the repercussions of taking it
Yeah.
down, but I thought you said you're not opposed.
I said I was not opposed to him having his wall built and moving his dock over and everything else like that, Steve.
Then I misunderstood you.
No, I still
Okay,
think
I just-
that we need the jetty there. I think it's very important.
All right, I said I misunderstood you.
And that was what I was gonna say. All
Would
right.
your brother like to say anything?
Yeah, I got thanks here. My name is Frank Pollock. I'm the other half owner of the property. And I went down to the waterfront tonight and took a picture of the jetty.
Frank, excuse me, if you're gonna show pictures, they need to be
Sorry,
entered in as an exhibit, and they're on your phone, so I just, be careful, I don't wanna take your phone from you.
All right.
Can you email them to us or something?
Well, you can take the phone from me. I don't care.
No, I mean, take it to enter it into the record. No one wants that.
All right, here's the,
No.
Can you email it from your phone to Jeff right
Right.
now?
well, if you give me the
Yeah.
Okay.
site.
It's ggreen@townofwinchester.org, and then I could print them.
While you're doing that, my comments back to John.
Yes.
One of the concerns
Okay.
that the commission articulated
Yes.
and that Tom Grimaldi addressed was that, again, there's an uncertainty about how far down that pier goes,
Yes, that's
whether it
correct.
stops at the lake bed or goes below
Right,
the
that's
lake
correct.
bed.
Yes.
And one of the things that Tom suggested, and we would have to incorporate if we move ahead with approval, is that as the demolition takes place, and there's a determination as to what the reality is, rather than what you think it is or what Mr. Vanziali thinks it is, then that issue would have to be addressed properly so that not only from a safety perspective, what might be down there is covered, but from a lake bed protection
Right.
perspective, it would be protected.
Yes.
So we talked about the soil scientist being here and talking about what kind of natural substance would be put back over that area to make it as uniform as the rest of the lake. So we're addressing that concern.
Yes.
I think hypothetically, every waterfront has rocks in it.
Yes.
Unless God created some waterfronts without rocks and some waterfronts with rocks.
Right.
But in reality, there's rocks in all those waterfronts.
Yes, true.
So there's always a safety aspect of jumping into the water and injuring
Yes,
oneself.
but what I'm talking most likely, Steve, is the concrete footing. And I didn't think we could take the concrete footing out of the lake
If
bed.
that comes out,
Yes.
then if there's a hole there,
Yes.
it's gonna be filled properly. If there's no hole, it's gonna be topped properly, so that there is some semblance of a lake bed that resembles the rest of the lake bed in that area. So I think that's been talked about by our engineer, the town's engineer, on behalf of the commission.
And what happens to like the property right next to me, like my ramp, how's that gonna be affected? Who's gonna fix?
You have your own property and your own,
But
you
they
both
but they both butt together.
You both have a common littoral boundary.
No,
You-
we both got the jetty, it's practically, it's right into the jetty,
Wait a
so.
minute, hang on.
It-
You have, there's a common littoral boundary.
Yes,
Stay on land, there's a common pin or concrete pier there.
Right.
That says you here and he lives there.
right.
And that continues hypothetically or imaginatively out into the water.
Right.
And that becomes a littoral boundary in the water.
Yes, I know.
So now what are you saying?
Okay, I'm saying, Steve, that just on my survey, part of Sean's jetty is on my,
We know that.
Yeah, okay,
You
good.
acknowledged that 4
Okay.
years ago.
okay, right, we know that, so maybe I don't want him to take it out, that's what I'm saying. I mean, why,
Well, again, I think one of the discrepancies
yes,
that this commission has talked about, and I think Gary said it best, is we do not own the water.
yes,
We own up to the end of the land.
right, that's correct.
And so where you're saying you don't want him to take out something in the water that's on your property.
Right.
But belongs to him, the decision
Yes.
or the request is made by the applicant, and the decision would be made by the commission.
Right.
Because we have a responsibility and a right that if something is in the water prior to the ordinance, and now is no longer in compliance with the ordinance that we're governed by, that we have a responsibility, if we choose to exercise it, and we have a right, if we choose to exercise it, to bring that waterfront into compliance. I asked Jeff for a more definitive answer from the town attorney, and basically, Jeff, I think that's where we're at. Am I correct?
Yeah, I haven't gotten the answer yet.
And we didn't get a direct answer, but he's indicated that when there's an application that involves the waterfront, we can bring anything out of compliance, if we choose,
Correct.
into compliance.
Right.
And that's what we're facing here now. There's a jetty that's out of compliance, and if hypothetically, or not hypothetically, you gave approval to it 4 years ago,
I gave approval for him to put his dock on it, to the jetty.
there's what on it?
His dock, attach the metal dock to his jetty.
And you knew that would, and again, that's out of compliance, because that's further into the littoral boundary. It's
Right.
further out into the
Well,
water.
I felt sorry for him because.
Well, okay, again, we're trying to remedy
Yes,
this.
okay.
Uh,
Well, if I didn't give approval, what would have happened then, Steve?
We probably wouldn't have allowed it to stay, and we would have asked them to take it out, or told them to take it out. When there's a violation of the littoral boundary, there's a public hearing by necessity.
Yes.
And then the commission has the right to make a judgment on it. You made our judgment at that point easier for us because you didn't oppose it.
Yes.
Well, you should have told us that there could be things that happen in the future.
Come on, you wanna come up forward and talk,
Yeah, I
and
did.
introduce yourself?
My name is Mary Pollock, I'm a resident of the house and John Pollock's wife. And I have more than that, because there's so much information here that is like, so they don't really, the person didn't really get the soil sample, somebody else got the soil sample.
That I agree with.
The engineer isn't sure about this or that. I don't know if you looked at our wall, but that jetty is attached to our wall, so if you pull it out, you could ruin our wall. And also the ramp that goes down is,
Attached to the
is
jetty also.
it's a ramp. I don't know if you saw that ramp, but that's partly on ours and partly on his. And Hope uses it all the time. I'm surprised you want to get rid of that. But, so I just think there's not enough information. It's like nobody knows anything. The lawyer hasn't said anything. It's because it's being pushed too fast, because it's just pushed too fast. And it hasn't, and he didn't get the ZBA approved. So I'm just upset because, well, the ZBA, but not, I guess, in the waterfront, people do have a right to have a reasonable use of their property. And maybe we use it in a different way. We always had kids there that came and swam, and it was very a good place for kids. And I know that maybe it's not, what did you say that it was, like it's not in conformity or anything like that. But if we do, that's how we used our property. We have a boat, and I swim way out. But it's just, and that's been for forever.
I think what you're saying.
I know it doesn't matter, but it should matter a little bit.
I think what you're saying, in my understanding of what you're saying at least, is that the position of your dock and walkway going out to your boat lift, your boat rather, and the position of the applicant's dock, which is partially on your property, creates a, sort of like a swimming area between the two of you, if that's what you're saying, and
Yeah,
I don't know if
that
that's
was
what
done in
you're
the past, yeah.
yeah,
That
it
was-
creates a swimming area.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand that.
thanks.
You know, the only, anyway, go ahead, I'm
Anyway,
sorry,
I
Mary.
don't really believe that the soil is, that the natural soil in the lake bed there is sand.
Okay.
That's all
I
I'm
don't
saying, and
That I
I
don't
think it
know.
should be checked out, because if you go beyond a certain area, because I swim there every day, I see the bottom, it's all muck. And I don't know about other people's waterfronts, but a lot of people have a mucky waterfront, because I've been in it. In fact, even Fred used to have one, so.
All right,
It's not sand.
We should have the soil sampled. There should be something done on there and just, it's really mucky out there.
I agree with you that the soil sample should have been taken by the soil scientist rather than the applicant. I agree with that.
Let me just.
Is there anything else that's
Yes.
pertinent?
Yes, Steve, okay. Okay, here's information regarding the lake bed and the damage that could be done to the lake bed.
John, I need one too.
I thought you gave me one. Okay, to the lake beds when we abuse it and dig it up. And then I'll be wrapping it up.
I just wish, and I'll say it publicly, I wish we had this information
I know, there's a lot of
before
missing.
you handed it out
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
Well, I wish we had known there.
Okay, it says, let me just quickly read it.
You just summarize, don't read it, just summarize it for
Yeah,
us.
okay, when it's not possible to dig up a lake bed, the feasibility and the effectiveness, soft sediment. A lake bed often consists of soft sediment, muck, and organic debris. Pounding rocks into this material will cause them to sink and be absorbed rather than create a compact, solid surface. The environmental and regulatory concerns, pounding or otherwise disturbing the lake bed can damage the aquatic microhabitants where the fish, the amphibians, and the invertebrates live. When it says it's not possible, on the next page, when it's not possible to dig up the lake bed, just on the bottom it says permits denial. Regulators can deny a permit if it's feasible, less environmental damaging alternatives exist, which may reject the project if the impacts of the aquatic system outweigh the public interest. And that would be like if we have a concrete footing in there, we should probably just leave it in there instead of just digging it up and then filling it in with something that we don't know. And the big problem is we don't know how big that hole is gonna be, and we fill it in with some kind of material. I guarantee it's gonna get washed away from the currents on the bottom. I always see ripples, especially with these big wake boats. There's gonna be a hole there, and then a lot of my soil's gonna probably wash over to his side, and then I'm gonna be on the short end of the stick. That's the other thing I'm concerned about.
The soil scientist, could you respond to any of these inquiries?
I mean, like I said, like I wasn't.
Just introduce yourself again, come forward.
I'm Chris Amraychek. So, I mean, he's reading off like kind of a generic lake bed substrate. So muck, all that stuff is true for muck. And if it's mucky, you know, you're not going to have alluvial soils. They're not going to be moving around. That's why they're mucky. So they kind of sit there, and you kind of sink in them when you walk. Again, the soil samples that were provided were sand. That's what I answered on. You know, if this is being done in the dry, I think the problem here is, you know, he's concerned about the footing. I think the engineer already said, I think you're gonna take the jetty out. If you're gonna take the footing out, you're gonna replace it with like soils. So whatever the chemistry of the soils that are there, that's what's gonna go back in there. You're not gonna like just dump rock there. It's not gonna be a rock hole. So whatever the substrate is, that's what's gonna be replaced, and that's what's reflected in the plan sheet.
And what's gonna keep it from not moving? That's what I want
What
to know.
keeps the soil there right now that's not, I mean, the substrate's a substrate, so you have like currents and stuff in a lake, you have wave action from boats and or for weather events. Actually, you know, muck moves around, muck settles, and that's why you have muck, you know. When you have sand, I'm sure a lot of people have beaches and stuff where they like to walk out, that sand's not moving, but if it moves a few feet, then it moves back. I mean, the walls are gonna keep it in place. Again, if you're worried about a hole, you're not gonna have, the hole's not gonna reestablish itself. I mean, I feel like you think it's gonna like flush out.
That's what I feel like, and it's hard for me to believe that that's not
But I
gonna
mean, you
happen.
could also put a base in it, you could put some small stone in there, and then you could top dress it with like material. So that, I mean, that's what town engineer said, we replace it with like material.
You know, we need a substantive plan
Yes.
that's gonna be reviewed by Tom to create as much of a normal lake bed
Well,
as
that's what we
possible.
provided, so the sample, we're saying that we.
Again, that's what we're gonna need,
Yeah.
you know. Do you guys have anything
No,
else to say?
I wanna finish up here, I think
Go ahead,
about
please.
less than 5 minutes or so. I'm talking about the jetty demolition plan, I got a couple of questions on it, I passed that out. The first thing on it, if you read number 1, it says it's going to be done during the dry conditions and when there's a deep lake drawdown. And who's gonna monitor that, Steve? Are you? Jeffrey?
Yep.
The accommodation, it sounds like.
Combination of engineer and Jeff.
And what about the excavating in the floors prohibited? Because if you go down to number 4 on this demolition plan, they said that they're going to use a hydro hammer.
Yeah.
I don't know what a hydro hammer is, I looked
It's
it
the
up.
same thing if you go to any projects that takes in place with a town, a state, anybody taking a pier out of a river, doing anything, it's the same program. They're doing it every day.
Yeah, but it says you can't use it on the
says
floor bed.
you can't use it on a floor bed if you're trying to put something new in. We're trying to recreate and reconstruct the lake bed. We're not trying to destroy the lake bed, we're trying to recreate the lake bed. You have no lake bed. You have a solid mass of concrete out there, stone.
And then it says also that the hull, if there is one, or the rocks that are feet down 3 inches are gonna be covered by light material. And yesterday, I called up Chris Samowski, the soil engineer, and I asked him, when did you go over to 504 East Wakefield Boulevard to look at the jetty? He said he never went out.
Okay.
We're not set.
What's that?
We've already established it.
I don't think that was established. He
Well, I
never
think,
went
no,
out.
I think what was established is that you didn't draw the sample. What hasn't been established is, how did you analyze the sample? And if he's saying you didn't go out there, then it was given to you?
Here it is over
Yeah.
here.
Wait a minute, huh?
Yes, sir, I provided that before, I looked at that photo.
You looked at a photo,
And it was sand.
it's not even the real thing.
Okay.
Here's the
I mean,
photo.
that's unbelievable.
It's like half a shovel of 4 spots.
I saw it, I was there. I saw the
Oh.
3 or 4 piles of dirt.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't even on the side of where the boats are.
Oh, it's on your side,
Is
your
that our
property.
side?
It looks
Yeah.
like he grabbed it from my side, Steve.
Again,
That's what I would have to say.
we established earlier that
Yes.
a better way of doing it would have been for the soil scientist
sure.
to go out and analyze.
Dig it himself.
Dig it and analyze it.
Right. So that really sort of,
Because we don't know what exactly it is. I would have gone down at least 2 feet and done at least 4
Well,
or 5
again,
samples.
I'm not a soil scientist, so I don't know how far they have to go down. Anything else from you two gentlemen?
Okay, just the last page here, on page 3, when I was about 12 years old, they dove into the lake bed in front of 502, and I almost broke my nose doing it. And right now, I got 4 grandchildren, and if they come up and they end up jumping in or diving in where the jetty used to be, they're gonna get seriously hurt.
Well, let's establish one thing, where the jetty used to be is somebody else's littoral boundary, not yours.
No, what I'm saying, I don't want them to get hurt.
Neither do I, but I'm saying, if they come on my property and jump in, it's irrelevant to yours.
Because it's only gonna be covered by 3 inches of blanket material, which is nothing. And I passed out the injuries that are possible if you jump off 5 feet from the top of the wall into 3 feet of water. And the last thing I would like to say is I'm sure that Sean will not jump off the 5-foot wall into this jetty that's covered with 3 inches of material. And I don't think anybody else should.
Okay.
That's it.
Again, I wish you guys had submitted this earlier so we had an opportunity to read it as part of our packet over the weekend and this week, but it's coming here now. Mary, you want to come forward? You want to just excuse yourself, gentlemen?
If a kid is swimming.
I can't hear you.
If you have children swimming, and maybe this jetty is gone, and you can just dive, kids dive into the water, and you could easily, because there's no jetty there, you don't know where it is, and you could easily hit your head. It really is a safety issue, and I just believe it's really a safety issue. And I also think, well, you don't have these materials, but you also don't have all the information for most of the other people here that you should have. Like, you don't have the full information that, I don't even know who's, did you go out to the lake? Did you go out and look at it? I mean, they don't have that, you don't have the thing from the lawyer, and you don't have a real, true soil sample.
That's true.
Any commissioners, any questions for the people here? All right, anybody else in the audience that would like to address this application?
There's one more thing.
Go ahead, I'll give you a chance.
I just wanted to say that one of the things that we wanted to do, to ask, which I don't know if John made it clear, that was the whole purpose, is, we don't want, not want Sean and Brooke to do their wall. I wouldn't want them not to be able to do the things to their wall that they wanted, having the meeting to end like that. But I also, I'm gonna forget it, and you're gonna misinterpret it, but I also think, why can't they just leave the jetty there? I mean, what's wrong with that? Or it's you now that want to move the jetty, not necessarily them 100%. I thought if the jetty could just stay there, then they could still move everything over, and they would have another side on that jetty where they could put their jet ski, or if we allow them to, and all that kind of stuff. It just seems like it would even work better.
If the jetty stays in, they can't have the waterfront the way they want to, what they're asking for in the waterfront, because they exceed the the 69-foot half rule, so they would have over 34 feet of occupancy in the water, and they're not allowed to have that, and we won't give them that. So that's why, from their perspective, to answer your question, they need to have the jetty come out to get what they want to put in the water. If the jetty stays in, something else that they want can't go in the water.
But do they have to have the jetty pulled out in order to start the other things that they want?
No, they need the
to
jet.
build a wall and to do all the things they need in the waterfront. There's a lot of work there. Why don't they just do that first and see what happens?
We won't approve what they're asking for.
Oh, okay, so we lose them input. Oh,
Okay.
that's all right.
You guys can step back.
All right, thank you.
Anybody on the commission? Any thoughts on this? Let's go around the table.
There's just so much new information that it's a lot to think about, but if the regulations say that the jetty shouldn't really be there, then don't we have to go by the regulations?
We can go by the regulation. We don't have to.
You don't have to,
We
okay.
can bring it into compliance, but that would be detrimental to the applicant in terms of what they can put in the
Put it in
water.
the water,
But
right.
it's subjective.
Okay.
Frank,
I think,
talk louder.
I'm sorry, I think the jetty has to go. I think we have to bring everything up to compliance. I think the jetty, bring everything up to today's, with the dock and the boat lift and the thing, I think the jetty's gotta go.
Mary Ann?
Well, there are three components to this analysis, right? There's what's compliant according to the dock and mooring ordinance, what are the ecological impacts of this project, and potential safety hazards. So I think the second two determine the first one. So if we approve this, it would be prudent, in my opinion, to put in conditions regarding the soil scientist actually going to the property and taking soil samples himself from the area that will be disturbed, and analyzing them. As Tom said, somebody has to have oversight over the analysis of the like material that will be suggested to replace the area where there's currently concrete, and we'll have to have a condition about that. The safety issue probably could be overseen by a structural engineer, maybe?
Well, there's one way to eliminate the safety issue, is require the applicant to remove the footing in its entirety.
Right, but we don't know how deep that is.
I guess it really doesn't matter how deep it is.
Doesn't matter if we're doing, if
It's
we're,
probably not that deep.
Right.
It's not gonna be 6 feet deep,
yeah.
you know?
And I guess, yeah, so if we add all those conditions in a more sort of robust way than I just described on the ecological issue, which I think is the #1 issue that we have to be, really concerned about.
If we pull out the pier, it has to ecologically be sound for the
Yeah.
integrity of the lake.
Correct. So, and I agree, to mitigate any potential safety issues, if we're approving the removal of the pier, then it should be the removal of everything. So that, okay, I mean, you're right, if their kids jump over the line, their kids are jumping over the line, but a future owner may not know that that's there. So I think it is sort of incumbent on us to think about, many years ahead. So, yeah, I mean, I think with a whole lot of conditions and oversight and third-party oversight over the replacement-like materials, and I think I'd have to hear from Jeff and Tom if the kind of oversight they're suggesting is even possible with staff availability, or if a third party would have to be hired during that period of time. And if all that can happen, then sounds like that it's a go.
Listen, just remember, you're gonna make the motion. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I think obviously Tom has got some stuff he's got to review. I don't feel comfortable making any sort of decision tonight, obviously, and it's up to the applicant if they want to continue it. Because obviously there's some conditions of approval that would have to be in there. Who is taking responsibility to sign off on this lake bed that it's going to be restored to similar conditions, what's around it. So those are things we don't have in front of us tonight, so.
Jeff?
I think I heard also that they were, the Pollocks were concerned about, where are they? Their ramp being attached to the jetty.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is there some way we could rectify that also? When you take the jetty out to fix it so that the ramp isn't destroyed? Maybe that could be a condition also?
The ramp from when I was there several times, took pictures, the ramp, if there's a stake on the boundary line between 504 and 502, and if you can continue that stake out into the water, the ramp is really, it's just ledge that wasn't addressed with a wall on top of it. Is that the ramp, correct?
No, the ramp is 10 feet by 10 feet steep, and it tilts down like this.
Yeah, but it's ledge. It's not created.
It's cement, it's concrete, cement, stone, it's not ledge.
I thought it was ledge,
It's
wasn't
not
it?
ledge at all.
What?
It was man-made.
Man-made? Oh, I thought it was ledge,
It's definitely
okay.
man-made.
But again, that's on your property.
Wouldn't it be the same as if my wall butts up to his? It would be my job to make sure that when it's severed, that it's correctly done so that I don't.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
It should be
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
thing, it should be the same
Yeah.
situation.
You could saw cut the concrete
Yeah,
Yeah,
and make a nice line,
right.
yeah.
and, rub the edges so you don't have sharp edges. There's ways to clean it
Yeah.
up, grind it.
Go ahead, Jeff, I'm sorry.
Well, I would agree if that is one of their concerns, that would make it a little better for them, I believe. I think we're better off without the jetty, honestly. I just think
Without the
Without the jetty, I think we are.
You
As
think-
long as we get all the soil replaced properly and that's all the oversight is good.
Do you feel comfortable making a decision tonight?
Can we put those conditions so that Tom has control of that and the soil scientist has good control, or do we need to see that again and make that part of our decision?
I think we should be able to put those conditions in. I don't think we want to kick this can down the street.
Well, we're running out of time too.
We're running out of time.
Can you,
We're doing the right thing.
as far as my conditions go, can your conditions reference inclusion of my conditions? Because I would like to have some time, I can do it tomorrow, but I'd like to have time to sit down and write up proper conditions of approval. I have a question to Kyle regarding the bond estimate for erosion and sedimentation control. I need to set that bond estimate, which should be a part of my conditions of approval. So as long as you can word it that my conditions that I'm about to write are included as part of the approval, then I don't see an issue from my perspective.
I would only consider moving ahead is if the applicant would agree that whatever conditions we impose, whether it come from the commission or Tom, that you just agree to those conditions.
With what I've heard so far, I would be glad, and I would be glad to pay for the soil scientist to come and review the soil.
Again, that would be a
and draw
condition.
down. I'd be glad to pay for him to review the soil that is gonna get put back in.
Yeah.
And I'll be glad to do that.
But you
so-
don't know what Tom's gonna say.
Well,
So,
but I wanna do the
stay-
wall, and he is going to be the limiting factor, so if I have to do it, we'd just be coming back again to hear what he's
Right,
gonna,
but
and I'm willing.
that's what Steve's
so-
asking you, like,
Right,
are,
I'm willing.
are you willing to wear a blindfold and say
Well,
yes?
I mean, I wanna do the job, so if it changes, I still gotta do it.
I think,
Yes.
I think you can sense, and everybody can sense, that we're trying to get to the best viable solution to sort of make everybody
Understood.
reasonably satisfied with the decision. You know, it's not gonna be perfect for everybody, but
Understood.
it's gonna be a decision.
I would accept.
It's gonna be a decision that we make, and we can ask you, and you can deny it. We can ask you to give us a written request to continue the public hearing until next month, so that you then have time to sort of swallow what Tom is bringing up and deal with it or
But
not
I'm gonna
deal.
have to do it anyways, because I wanna do the wall, so I will accept it, because
All
I
right,
mean, I have
just-
to accept it a month from now.
I'm trying to put everything out
Yeah,
there that we
understood.
possibly can.
Understood.
John, go ahead,
Yes, Steve, nobody still answered the question.
make it louder.
Okay, say for example, one of the contractors gets injured on the job and he's on my piece of property. Who's liable for that? Is it the town gonna be liable for it, or what happens?
He will not be on your property.
He shouldn't be on your property unless you give him permission.
I mean, he's gonna be 2 feet away, the property line is, yeah, how can,
That's.
and then what happens when he crosses over 2 feet? Let's be realistic, he starts chipping, part of the cement and it flies over there and.
No job could ever be done if that was the case.
Yes, I know,
I
I know
think-
that shot,
I
but
think-
I'm talking about liability, or
Sorry,
something could happen.
there is a solution for this, which is that you can make the Pollux an additional insured on your policy for the period of the work.
Yeah, but we're looking at
Never
the,
done this.
Well, they, you know,
No, it's a good
It
point.
isn't ridiculous, if it was your property, you'd be doing the same
Oh, I
thing.
wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
I mean, it's between,
Hey, wait, let's not get into, John, you made a statement.
Yes, okay.
We're dealing with it,
Well,
okay.
that's one of my big concerns,
Okay.
Steve, is that.
I hear you.
I don't think we have the power
No.
to,
Correct.
but all I'm saying is that is between them, and that is a solution that they could work through.
I think also there should be some condition about the weep holes in the wall.
Yeah.
yeah, that's gotta be,
You know, that-
Well, I think the structural engineer checking the wall is part of your conditions.
That'll be part of my
Yeah.
conditions.
They'll take care of that.
That's design.
Yeah,
Prior to obtaining a permit to do the demolition, that we have to have a signed seal plan from the structural engineer.
on the wall.
So at least them knowing that, it gives Kyle time to get rolling on that tomorrow. And get somebody to look at the plans.
Okay.
Is it fair to put a time contingency on this, so that if we don't have a completed approval with all the conditions and the agreement on it, that we can withdraw the approval? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, Matt, you said you were uncomfortable moving ahead tonight?
there was a lot of unanswered things, but obviously he just said that he would accept any conditions we put on it. I mean, it'd be nice to have him in front of us now, obviously, but he's willing to accept anything that we state. And obviously, we gotta know who's gonna, like I said, is our soil scientist gonna be responsible for restoring the lake bed? That's the big, whose name's going on it, and obviously that'll be part of the conditions, obviously.
Are you up to the task?
Yeah, I think the only question I have is if this footing is very deep into the lake bed, because nobody knows, what would be sufficient to, a sufficient depth below the lake bed to then be able to restore it and make sure it stays in place? So would it be 18 inches below the lake bed, 24 inches? Would it require crushed stone and then the substrate? I'm not a biologist or soil scientist, so I'd have to defer to one of the professionals.
Can he answer that for us? Can you answer that for us?
Sure, yeah, we already talked about it, we removed the whole thing, we're gonna put, we're gonna put something solid in the bottom, and then we're gonna put the parent material.
Well, and
Up
what
to
I'm
3
saying
feet,
is
6 feet, or
if it's ridiculously
18
deep,
inches with,
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we don't wanna chase on 6 feet, but I think we're all under the assumption that it's gonna be probably be about a foot and a half down.
that's what we're hoping, but let's say it is, worst case scenario.
2 feet, I mean, 2 feet's not that bad to backfill. I mean, and then, of course, the top 18 inches will be to match the soil that's on the substrate on both sides.
What happens if it's on shale rock, lake bed rock? No footing, it's just regular rock that's out in the lake. What do you do
It's just
then?
sitting on rock.
could be, it's
Could
all
be.
rock there.
Well, that solves a lot of issues.
I mean, that's natural.
You just peel it right off and on you go.
That would be the best case scenario.
You leave the natural shit.
All right,
Yeah.
all right,
Leave the natural shell. Yeah, if that's the case, it'd be a whole nother.
okay.
Anybody else have anything to say before we close the public hearing? Because once we close it, the audience is out of the conversation and it's up to us. Any other questions?
First of all, I'm pretty sure, we're all pretty sure that there's a footing. When they were young, they saw it being built. We know there's a footing, and I can tell you from the past where we've had to take things down that my father-in-law and grandfather built, the concrete that they used was really heavy duty. One person had a hard time getting through with the jackhammer. So everything may not be so easy, and I just want to know, what if all of this hypothetical things that you're saying, things that you don't really know for sure, what if it isn't, what happens if it doesn't work? And what happens if it does create safety issues, and who's responsible for that?
That's what I wanted to know, Steve, and the other thing is, like I said with Fred, I worked with him a couple of times, and it does go down at least a foot to 2 feet down there, and it was very hard to work down there, and that rock is in there, and it's not gonna be an easy job.
Is that what you think, John? It's
You know-
2
you
feet,
know-
it's about 2 feet?
No, it's between 1 and 2 feet down, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
John stated 70 years ago this was built, so
That's
unless
correct.
John's 80 or 90, I'm not
It's
sure at
still there.
2 years of age he remembers the
I know.
construction of this. I'm just.
I don't know either.
He did state it was.
Let me introduce something completely that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, right.
And again, the engineers, or both of your engineers, might possibly do. When you start to dig into the lake bed, you're gonna get water coming up from the lake bed.
I guess that depends on the drawdown. how much
Well, the
we
drawdown-
have is below the bottom of the foot.
The drawdown, according to Mr. Speziali, and it wasn't contested, will go out probably 10 to 15 or 20 feet beyond where the digging will be. So,
Do you remember last 5 years ago what the dry, is it the same depth
Yes.
this year as it
Yes.
was?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was well past 20 feet past.
yeah,
the jetty.
but
Right, I
again, we
think-
don't know what water.
Steve, I think that calculation is based on the fact that they have 3.5 feet. When I measured that the other day, there's 3.5 feet of water at the outside of the jetty.
Yeah.
And we're going down 5 feet with the lake, with the drawdown. So your water level's still gonna be 1.5 feet lower.
So you think that,
Than-
you don't
than
think that,
grade
you don't think water will be coming up?
Not if it's 1.5 feet lower out. You may get some
All
running
right.
of water, but I don't think you're gonna get bubbling of
I
water.
mean, at that point, you probably recommend stoning it
Right.
before the substrate goes on, unless that's what your recommendation was too, but that makes sense, we start getting the seepage.
Jeff, anything?
We'll spend a lot of time monitoring this project should it go forward. That's all I've got to say.
And if for some reason, if it doesn't go right, will it be stopped, and then what happens?
Yeah, right.
That's, say for example, it's a disaster, and we get like a hurricane rain and stuff like this, and we can't work anymore, what happens with that?
It's hard to comment on hypotheticals. I mean, we have to see what actually happens.
Everybody's commenting on hypothetical things right now.
Yeah, right.
They have this vision, knowing engineering this and that.
All right, I think everybody's had ample time to articulate whatever is on their minds and on their beliefs. Are we prepared to close the public hearing? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on IWWC 2518, 504 East Wakefield Boulevard.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor of closing the public hearing? All right, it's unanimous, so no more comments from the audience at all. All right, guys, I think we kicked this around enough to know where we want to go in terms of approval or denial. The motion will be for approval. If we don't get enough votes for approval, then it would automatically be denied. Okay, so there's not going to be a motion to deny it. There'll be a motion for approval, and we will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 4 out of the 7, majority. Okay? Everybody understand that? Okay, and we're only addressing the waterfront, and I'm going to try to sum up what we're going to address. We're going to remove and reconstruct the lake wall and steps, remove concrete and stone jetty, construct new walkways, install a boat. The construction of the new walkways, is that on the waterfront?
But that's gotta be within the 100 feet, right?
Yeah, but again, is it part of the waterfront?
No, I think we're dealing with the walls.
Okay, so
the
leave
walls
that out.
themselves right
Leave that out, okay.
Removing concrete and stone jetty, a new walkway, install boat lift, jet ski lift, and dock. We have the measurements for all of those instruments. We have the positions for them on the diagram, so we know where they're going. They're not going to impact the littoral boundary at all. The setbacks are all appropriate. The sum total of what they're asking for, with the removal of the concrete walkway and jetty, allows them to ask for what they've asked for, and we can approve it so long as we take out the jetty. All right, so that would be the oversight of the motion.
I have a motion if you want it.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's long.
I'm gonna want a copy of that.
Yeah, okay. So, motion to approve all the elements Steve just described, of this application, what's the application number? Sorry. IWWC 25-18. This approval does not pertain to the demolition of the house and garage nor the reconstruction of same, with the following conditions. A licensed soil scientist visits the property, takes soil samples and analyzes them, then resubmits his methods and means plan according to the new analysis to staff and Tom. A third-party soil scientist approves the methods and means and approves the suggested like material used to restore the disrupted lake bed and oversees the creation of the like material before it is placed onto or into the lake bed. All elements associated with the pier are removed to eliminate any potential safety concerns that could result from leaving any elements of the jetty on the lake bed. Any elements of the jetty that will be removed that are currently attached to the property at 502 East Wakefield are restored to current condition if affected by the work. All conditions determined by Tom Grimaldi, town engineer, are met and complied with. And a third-party engineer and town staff oversee all phases of the project. How's that?
The last condition is that the applicant has agreed to adhere to all of the conditions,
Sure.
conditionally, for conditional approval.
Yeah, okay.
Tom, you're gonna come up with a bond amount?
I will. I have one question. Did you include the removal and replacement of the seawall?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Any thought about a bond? Tom's gonna come up with a
Yeah,
bond?
that's gonna be Tom's,
The E&S bond, that's the only thing that we asked for. Is there anything else?
oh, the erosion and sedimentation bond. He's gonna come up with the erosion and sedimentation
Do
bond.
you need any silt fences or hay bales or anything else out there?
No,
Yeah,
he's
this
got sediment blocks.
Okay.
From the lake bed.
Anybody else? Is there a second for the motion? Gary? Any comments before we vote? All those in favor of approval with all of the stipulations that we attach to the motion, pending a bond amount that we don't know yet, which the applicant basically has agreed to at this point anyway. All those in favor of approval, please raise your hands. All right, it's unanimous. Okay? Obviously, all of the conditions have to be met before any work starts. And when they're met and you're ready to begin to work, please let Jeff and Tom know that you're starting. And tell Mr. Gonzalez, you saved him, he saved you. I don't know how it would have been done. All right. Thank you very much. Thank everybody in the audience for your participation. I think we really did due diligence in trying to resolve this in a proper manner.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
IWWCC 23.
They should have
You wanna make a copy of that?
Yes, please.
Hopefully you can read
All
my
right, the next
handwriting.
application before us is
If you wanna email it to me,
IWWC
I can read my handwriting, I can type it for you.
25-18. Oh, wait a minute, no, we're up to old business.
25-23.
23. 23.
Yeah, all right, 25-23, the applicant is Richard Paul and Knight, and the address is 229 West Wakefield Boulevard, and the applicant wants to construct a new storage building with a deck above the roof line and the associate site and stormwater improvements. Yourselves, hi guys, could you introduce yourselves, please?
For the record, my name is Robert Colabello. I'm a senior project manager with Haley Ward. And I'm here today with the applicant, Richard Knight. Paul and I couldn't be here tonight. So we presented at last month, why is this? Can't get my mouse moving. All right, okay. Oh, great. Huh? I know. Anyway, so at last month's meeting, oh, there it is.
Come on, Rob.
I'm getting there, I'm sorry. At last month's meeting, the only revisions that were asked to be made to the plan were that we put a footing drain around the storage shed. However, I waited around till the end of last month's meeting because Jim Rollins got up and I knew he was gonna speak about, the roadway in front of this property, which anybody who's been by this area is familiar with the puddles that accumulate here, and Jim's coming up with a plan to put in an under-drain system at this site. So to that end, I thought, well, because we have to put in a foundation drain around this house, we have to discharge it somewhere. And there really is only one place to discharge it right now currently, and that is kind of at that catch basin. But now that Jim came up with...
Use your marker.
Now that Jim came up with everything in red here.
Yeah.
So now that Jim came up with the idea that they're gonna be putting in an under drain along here, I asked Jim if it would help him if we extended the footing drain out and created a curtain drain at the base of the slope, because what Jim was relaying to everyone at that meeting was that there's a high groundwater table here, and he's trying to get it down, so to keep the water and stop that pooling. And I think that the curtain drain, in conjunction with his under drain, would really help the problem that he's having down there, help with the problem he's having down there. So I called Jim and asked him if he thought this was a good idea, and he loved the idea, and I just built it into the plan. So at the base of the slope where you see this erosion control matting, you'll see that the footing drain gets extended this way, and then it'll flow towards here, and then down. Currently, now it all depends on timing. Jim said if they do the under drain before he does his, they could tie it right into the under drain itself. If they do their work first, it's tied into the catch basin until he's ready to come along with the under drain, and then they'll tie it in back then. So
At whose expense?
well, the town is already
I know that, but the tying it in,
tying it in, is cut the line and put in a front coat, and just a couple,
no big deal.
$50.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it would be part, to answer your question, it would be part of the town's project, because that would be done on town property. Because the line is here. So, property line is right here, this heavy line, and the work would be done like right here, only in the first foot or so, to tie in. So, regardless of which one comes first, in either case, it would be tied in. This does not connect to this drain and go to the lake. This is a separate drain that Rick keeps clean all the time and makes sure that it doesn't have any buildup in it. This pipe actually goes from here down towards Pratt's house and then crosses the road at Pratt's house into the
So it
lake.
eventually goes into the lake.
This one, it does not. That's what it does. And this is all clean
Yeah.
water. This is all clean water. It's all groundwater only, so that's going in.
How deep's that footing drain gonna be?
Not, well,
Or the-
as
the
he brought up,
curtain
it's a
drain?
stepped footing, so it's gonna be high up around the top, but he's got slab on grade at the base.
Actually, I meant the curtain drain part. How deep's that gonna be?
Well, we're gonna put it as deep as we can to get it into the basin and, get pitch from here to the basin. So,
You're talking 10 feet?
That's no
Huh?
887?
so
It's probably 3 feet deep, you'd probably be with it.
Was that,
88, and,
3 feet.
what do we, oh, yeah, hold on.
well, there's a natural slope just on the topography of
Top
the property.
Top of the frame is 84, so, and it's gonna be below that even, so there's a few feet there that they can use to tie in, that should be an issue. I mean, like I said, the only revisions that were asked for was that, but I just thought it would be worth it to do what we're doing with Jim in conjunction with what Jim's doing, just so we could try to solve the problem that they're having here. I know Jim's probably coming up with a good idea of his own to solve the problem, but he thought this would help immensely, considering this is one of the properties that contributes. I mean, this is where the water sits, right here. It kind of doesn't make it in the basin, and it's right in his parking area, so.
Is there anything else you've added to the thing from the last time other than this?
No. Only what was asked for.
Okay. Anybody with any questions or concerns?
No. Looks like a good design.
Good plan? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve IWWC 25-23, construction of a new storage building with deck above the roof line and associated site and stormwater improvements.
Any, second, thank you. Any bond?
Probably should be. $1,000 or something.
How much?
$1,000.
1,000?
Yeah, $1,000.
$1,000?
$1,000 bond.
Any remediation needed? Any protection of the lake?
Yeah, he's across the street.
Yeah, silt fence.
All right?
I think he's probably got it on there, right?
Okay. All those in favor of approval? Frank?
Frank?
Yes.
It's unanimous? Okay, $1,000 bond?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good luck with your project.
Next application is 25-29, Jocelyn Gold Branson. at 522 West Wakefield Boulevard, remove overgrowth, brush, vines, and property, remove dead trees and limbs.
Yes, so I was.
Introduce yourself, please.
Oh, hi, Jackie Goldbronson, owner at 522 West Wakefield Boulevard. My husband couldn't be here tonight. He was with me last month when we came as new business. Yeah, so last month we talked about what we were planning to do, no excavation, no stump removal, truly just,
Topical.
yep. But there is a map, so basically we're trying to just clean out the overgrowth on this property due to 10+ years of no maintenance. It's not intended to clear the property. Work includes removal of brush, shrubs. There is a desire to maintain trees and privacy on the property. A certain area of the properties will not be touched at all, which you can see on the map that we provided. The yellow circled areas, like that's not even being touched. So there's a lot by that Sucker Brook and over, like it's not even just being touched at all. It's more kind of like that center area of the property and around
That's overgrown right now.
Oh my God, yes, it's terrible. And once the area is cleaned up, there's definitely low-lying areas that we would like to like fill in and seed just to prevent all the puddling that we see. So, yeah. That's it.
When are you gonna do this? Next year?
They did it already, you got caught.
So we had started work, didn't realize permitting. So we're trying to do it the right way and then finish what we've started. So yes, so as soon as we can get back on a schedule to get it cleared.
How close to the water are you getting?
Well, so the stuff by the lagoon, if you can see in the map,
Yep.
like I mean, there's stuff, there's like limbs growing over the lagoon. We have like a little arched bridge that goes from the lagoon out into the lake. Like, you can't even get your canoe. Like, the branches are, like, I mean, this is stuff that honestly, if I had, I don't know, months of just my own time, I could come with clippers and just, there's just so much. It's too overwhelming. And then these vines, they're just like huge.
It's incredibly overgrown.
It's
No,
strictly
sorry.
maintenance.
What's that?
It's strictly a
Maintenance.
I used to
Yeah.
go kayaking under that bridge and go into that little.
So you know what? So again, like we're not trying to like take down every tree on the property.
Yeah, no.
Everything healthy and big is staying. Just it's literally like the brush and overgrowth, and so some of it is right along water to your question, but I'd say most of it is not. It's that center section of the property where, like, if you were sitting at the house, you don't even know there's a lake. That's how overgrown this center section of the property is.
Any concerns, anybody? Jeff, you good now?
I'm good.
My only note is that when you are working around the lagoon, you really make every effort to keep the organic material on the
Out.
land.
Yes.
Yeah, because more organic material means more nutrients for cyanobacteria and other things we don't want to take over the lake, right? And where because it's so shallow and it has not really rained a lot, it's been warm, there's a lot of sun, more nutrients mean, in those conditions, a higher probability of a cyanobacteria bloom or similar.
Is it possible that when you begin, after approval, when you begin, that you let Jeff know when you're beginning, which is required, but when you're working near the lagoon in that area, let him come out and see what you're doing? Just to check on what Mary Ann is alluding to? I mean, once you get into the middle of your property, then we're comfortable.
Yeah.
When it's all lawn, when you finish it, it's nice lawn and everything like that, and you go through with your lawnmower.
I can't.
Are you gonna blow
No, sir.
the lawn into the lake? Oh, come on now.
Yeah, you gotta get one of those bags that collects your clippings.
Anything else, guys?
There's still a lot of unmowed, because it still has stumps.
That's
and
their
it's
5-year
more
plan to
just
get to the lawnmower.
to be able to walk through. I'm not trying to mow it.
They'll pick it
Anybody
up
with
from
anything
there.
else?
But let's get 5 years to the lawnmower.
Jamie, you good?
I'm good.
We have a motion?
Come on, guys. out.
Go ahead, Matt, you got it in your hand?
All right, motion to approve IWWC 25-29. Remove overgrowth, brush, vines on property, remove dead trees and limbs.
Second.
Do we need a bond?
No.
No.
Just asked.
No. Only when they take the lawnmower out.
All those of approval,
5-year plan with the lawnmower.
good luck. Next order of business, application 2532. The applicant is Jennifer Perga. The address is 378 Wakefield Boulevard, East Wakefield Boulevard. Rebuild 2 piers under existing dock. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Jen Perga, 378 East Wakefield.
Okay, spoke to us last month. Anything new to add? Anything?
I have a friend who came up and made a diagram and made a procedure that the commissioners had asked for.
Methods and means,
Yes. What's it called?
methods and means.
Got it.
Okay, the 2 piers in question,
Yes.
neither of them, or any of them, under that, you have like an overhang deck dock on the side of the, right, okay, strictly on the pier going out. Okay. Will you be doing any work on the dock itself? The deck of, the top of the dock? Nothing? You're gonna lift this up, fix it, and drop it back down?
Correct.
So you're gonna put a footing in, though, so you're gonna pull all those rocks out of there?
Yes,
Put a footing in.
so that's what my friend Bill came and measured and found appropriate places for the footings.
Jen, are the piers that are in there larger than the footings that you're gonna put in?
It's gonna be built the same way.
Same, okay.
Yep. They're approximately 4 feet by 4 feet.
Okay, cool.
Anybody?
You're not putting any piers in where there aren't already existing piers. Okay, just want to clarify
It should
that.
look exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Mary Ann, we're talking to a woman who doesn't wanna cut a tree down.
I know.
Protect the water.
The only reason I asked is because I just was triggered by her comment that he measured and said where things should go.
Oh, no, just because the commissioners last time had asked about where the supports would be while
Got it.
they're doing the
About
building.
how much time are you gonna need on this?
I think under a week, they're really fast.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
I don't think so.
Would you like a copy?
Did you put it in the portal? I'm not seeing it.
Talking about this?
This.
Yeah, oh, we must
Who's in
have
our
it.
packet?
Never mind.
Who's in our packet?
9
Paper
copies.
packet. Yeah.
All right, do we need any bond? Any,
All the work's done by hand, you're taking it down by hand.
Correct.
There's no equipment, no, I don't,
any erosion control? I mean, the water's gonna be out, I think, at that
it's
point.
all rock.
Mostly all rock.
Yeah.
Water.
Okay, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve IWWC 2532, 378 East Wakefield Boulevard for rebuild 2 piers.
Second, all those in favor of approval? Thank you. Don't move.
I'm staying.
This is the hard one. Next application is 25-33. The applicant is Catherine Perga. The address is 360 East Wakefield Boulevard, replacing existing rip-rap lake wall with a masonry wall.
May we proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Talk louder, please.
May we proceed?
Please.
Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the commission and staff. My name's David Batista. I'm a licensed professional engineer in Connecticut with Haley Ward here in Winston. and I'm here tonight with applicant's representative, Jen Perga. Applicant is Kathy Perga, Jen's mother. We were here last month, we gave you a presentation of a wall that we would like to build. It's a very low stone wall along the lakefront, approximately 180 feet long. It will be built on bedrock. There's very shallow bedrock here, so the wall will not be very tall. It's replacing modified riprap slope protection. And we have a very comprehensive soil erosion sediment control plan, which explains carefully how the project will be executed. It's primarily going to be all hand labor because of a no tree removal restriction that's been placed by the owner. So everything's going to be hand dug. Everything's going to be hand imported material with wheelbarrows, and there will be no heavy machinery in or near the lake bed. Be a stone masonry wall with mortar and maybe 2 or 3 feet tall, 1.5 feet above the high water mark, or the normal, ordinary high water, I should say. And we're going to take the riprap that we have on site and use it behind the wall, like as a sort of a wave erosion protection at the top of the wall. And the only issue that came up last month was somebody asked about weep holes. Internally, we decided against it because there's only 1.5 feet of the wall exposed, but we wouldn't object to that if that's something that commission wanted. And that way, if a big boat came by and sent a big wave over the top of this wall and water got into the riprap, it would have an opportunity to drain out.
How many would you put in?
I don't know, Rob, what do you think, 25 foot on center?
Yeah, I was gonna say 20 to 25 feet on center.
Yeah, every 25 feet, or
Gary,
20
with
feet.
that?
Yeah, no,
Matt?
that's fine.
Oh, I think when it's a high water mark or the water's up, it's equal pressure on both sides of that wall.
right.
I think it'd just be more or less maybe when the water goes down to get the hydraulic pressure out of there.
Well,
If it was to freeze, that would be my only thing.
Right.
Well,
I
there's
mean-
the topography goes way, the drop from the road, you know, it's all downhill.
Oh, yeah, it's all coming to that wall.
It's all
There's
coming
nowhere else
down.
for it to go. But that's the only thing I would.
All right, well, that's reasonable then.
Yeah, so we're willing to do that as a condition of approval.
How are you gonna attach the wall to the?
Drill holes into the bedrock
Into
and
the-
grout steel
rebars?
that will come up inside of the stone wall.
Because it's all ledge there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a detail that's on the plan, and the green bars that you see on the detail are steel reinforcement bars. They'll be down 20 inches, Rob, you have there? Okay, I think it says 20.
20 inches.
20, that's a pretty good depth.
No steps on the wall in and out, correct?
There's already, there's a set of steps on the site right now in this area, right here.
And you're gonna keep them?
Yes.
Okay.
Dave, this was a work in progress, right? X amount of feet this year, X amount
Yes,
of feet next year.
four-year sequence that we have, you know, approximately 25% per year.
But that was my question, if you're going to 5th year or 6th year.
And there are provisions in the erosion control narrative where we talk about means and methods to build a temporary tent or hut around the work so that it can be heated. Given the time of year that this is going to be taking place, the masons will probably find themselves having to work inside this little enclosure and then move it along as they build.
How long will it take to do 25, 30 feet?
Couple weeks, month? I don't know.
Yeah, but if you start middle of October,
Well, is the water going to be all the way down by then?
I don't know all the way down, but it'll be maybe down enough away from the wall, Jan would know.
Yeah, it's really shallow there. It
Yeah,
goes
so,
down pretty
you
fast.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this dry every year?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure
It's
everybody
all
would
shallow.
prefer we don't have to build in cold
Dry
weather.
area.
No, I'm just, you know, you're saying it's like an overkill on this.
Well, you don't want the cement to freeze.
What's that?
You don't want the cement to freeze.
Yeah,
that's for sure. That's
yeah,
what it's
Yeah,
for.
if you're working in, it's 30 degrees or 26 degrees at night, you're better off having some heat on.
And you can't place mortar
Okay, your,
Well, the
your
problem
project.
with it, Steve, is even the stone, when they go to put the stone in the morning, you can't put the mortar on the stone, because the stone is too cold. And it freezes the cement.
So you gotta sit there and warm it up.
You could have
Shake it
something,
up.
you got in a tent, you got it under cover, you got something, it works better.
Maybe we should have the drawdown during the middle of the summer.
Yeah. Any other concerns? Matt?
Quick dry
Should we have an as-built on this?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Should have asked for that last month.
Well, no, that's after the work's completed, we'll
Oh.
have it. You know, I think,
Well, that's gonna be 5 years from now, 6 years?
yeah, well, when the bond, you know, when they go to seek their bond, return on the bond or whatever they go.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
There's a lot of shortfall.
Yeah, just a
Yeah,
lot of
I know
short
that.
with a lot of curves and stuff like that.
Let's stay with the bond. Any idea how much? 1,000? I didn't hear, you went like this, I don't know what that means. Oh, okay.
I would think 1,000 was plenty, because
Yeah.
you're only doing a certain amount every year.
Every
It's gonna
year,
stay
yeah.
in place for 4 years. I think that would be more than enough.
And I would suggest that a condition be that whenever the project begin, that the inland wetlands agent be notified year after year after year after year, seriously.
Yeah,
You know, not that all of a sudden, 3 years from now, there's work being done and it's out of sight, out of mind, for sure. All
I
right,
see Jeff all the time.
that's reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion for approval?
Make a motion to approve IWWC 2533, 360 East Wakefield Boulevard, a replacement of a masonry seawall with a $1,000 bond over a period of 4 years, I guess.
Well, Jeff, how long is the permit good for? 4 years, 5 years?
5 years, 5 years.
So it has to be completed without asking for an extension?
Right.
Within the 5 years, and again, each year, when you begin to do another section of the wall, that Jeff be notified in advance. Okay? Is there a second?
Second.
Frank, all those in favor of approval?
Are we, is that with the condition of an as-built?
Yeah. You
Okay.
said that, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
Yep,
no,
all in
good.
favor, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good luck with the
Thanks.
project. All right, we have new business.
Just a point of order, who seconded that motion?
Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
You're in a hole. Otherwise, disappear. Thank you. Good night, Rob. Anybody from here from application 25-24? No?
Yes. Come on up,
Oh.
that's you. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Hi there, I'm Michael Block.
Okay. The proposal is a post facto application for removal of auto business building and regrade area.
Yes,
This is a new application now, guys. Yes.
can I pass out another map?
You can.
There's one in your, we got one in the packet.
I
Is
know,
it different than this?
this shows something else.
Yeah, give it out. Just so you're more familiar with our process. The best you can hope for tonight is us accepting your application.
Right.
So anything you give us, we'll sleep on for a month.
Right,
And you'll answer any questions or any concerns that we may have tonight. And hopefully, by the time we get our packets next month, all of our concerns will be addressed in the package.
okay, and the other thing is that for the next meeting
Yep,
in October,
yep.
I won't be here, so I need to do it in November. So, what did you say, I should ask for a 65-day extension?
We might as well get it, just in case it goes any longer, Frank.
Yeah.
Yep. Better to have it, not need it.
So he'll submit it in the.
So, Mr. Block, you're gonna present to us tonight, we're gonna accept your application.
Yes.
And next month, you're not going to be here, so you're gonna preempt, ask Jeff to submit a request for an extension.
Correct, and then
Okay,
I'll
good.
be here at the November.
Okay, good.
meeting.
Go ahead, talk to us.
So the only thing, this is a partial copy of the map you already have. And the only thing on it, I spoke with Jeff today on the phone, and we decided I should show this fence here that I want to put in.
The one near Main Street?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's not on the map you have.
Oh.
That's the only difference, is that it shows that fence and the mailbox. And then the driveway's put in straight, but that doesn't matter. It's really just about the fence. So I could put it on we could either leave it at this, and I'll be back in November if you accept the application, or I could make new copies of that with it on it, if you'd like.
I think I'm comfortable with leaving it, just with adding this piece of paper to it. Just what I would like you to do is, with final approval, when you submit the package to Jeff, have it on this. We don't need 9 copies of it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just give him a copy of it,
Just for the file.
just for the
Sure
file,
thing.
all right?
Sure
That'll
thing.
make it easier for you, and no use burdening us with more paper.
Okay, so basically, the front of the property is within 100 feet from wetlands across the street from it. The building that was removed was beyond the 100 feet. But so nothing's been done in the 100 feet yet, except for the pavement there was broken pavement in the parking lot that has been removed. So that has been done. That was in the 100 feet. And this is not done yet. But I realized today that I should be showing what I want to do, because I thought it was in the 100 feet. And it appears to be, I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go, but that's the closest to the wetlands it would go. I want it to go there. It's 90 feet from wetlands, so it'll either be 90 feet or farther.
What's your plans for the property?
So the property's a mobile home park, and it was a pretty nasty mobile home park. I've done a lot of mobile home parks, and I like them, believe it or not. I think they could be good, affordable housing when they're kept and made nice. Almost all of them I've ever worked with have something else attached to them too, like some other business in front of it. I don't typically like that. Most of the time I've gotten rid of them. Sometimes I haven't. In this case, I never thought I'd be getting rid of it because it had a long-term lease on it. So it was what it was. So I thought it was always going to stay that way. That long-term lease didn't end up working out and is gone. So then I had the option, which never occurred to me, to get rid of it. It was a pretty crappy building, to be upfront about it. It wasn't nice. The property, I put a lot into making it nicer, and it doesn't look nice. Does not look nice from the road. So the whole point is to make this a more appealing and more attractive property, and you know, when mobile home parks are not, they turn into junk like this one did. And I don't want that to be the case here again.
We had something on this
Yeah,
property.
about 2 years ago, they developed, they refabricated, they moved, they put concrete pad, and then
Yeah, I
they
bought it
rebuilt,
then.
they
Okay,
rebuilt
that was
three
me. I had
or
just bought
five of
it.
the
Okay.
things, yes.
Yeah.
Right. But we were concerned with the street behind
Right,
it,
right, in
with
the
the
American
berm.
Brook, right.
That's where they were within the wetlands.
Right, that was behind the property.
Right,
This is
right,
across the
across the
street in
street.
front of the property. So I have, since I last came and saw you, I have upgraded the property considerably, but there are still there's a couple of, I own almost all of them. The only way small mobile home parks stay good and are good is if the person who owns them owns the mobile home. So it's not a normal mobile home park, it's more like a rental community. Instead of a land lease community, there are a couple of older trailers there that are owned by the people that live in them, and they're really good people, but they're not nice, and they really diminish the looks of the property. So I am trying to let them be able to stay and make the property look nicer. Trying to kind of hide them, and
It looks like you made all did everything that the deep required of you, with the soil testing and everything?
yes.
That's all. That was a big concern of ours.
Anything else, guys?
So now this is gonna be just left the way it is now.
No, well, I hope not. No, I would like to, so basically, it's just, it doesn't, if you go look at it, it doesn't
Yeah.
look good. I mean, it's looking a little better each time, but I would like it to really look good. So I would like to put a nice fence in front of it. I would like to put a couple of mobile homes back that were here that will actually hide the not as nice looking older trailers. That's not anything I would go through wetlands for, so that's another
What about
step.
the broken concrete?
Broken
Did you
concrete?
say you broke some concrete?
No,
It's already been
pavement.
Oh, that's all done?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what has been done in the 100 feet to wetlands, is that the pavement that was there has been removed. The property hasn't been regraded or anything, and it won't be regraded because it's already graded properly.
Right.
It's like the proper grade, the way it is. So it doesn't need any grading or anything.
So the silt fence that was put up these last couple of weeks is staying, and the property's gonna stay the way that is?
Well, until the grass is established, if you're planting grass.
No, I won't be planting grass, that's gonna be, no, that will come out, when I move forward with the process. You know, I'll put the fence, there's nothing that will erode, it's just gravel like what's behind it. So basically, the driveway's gonna come down the middle of it instead of on the side of it. And there's already a driveway there, there was already an entrance for the auto place, it's the same entrance I'm using. I'm hoping to have a fence blocking it so that it's not just exposed to the main street, not where you enter into it, obviously. Like entering into the middle, like it's shown.
Will, you know, typically, most commissioners will visit the property. Any problem with us walking on the property with a lot of different people in there?
Not at all,
Okay.
not at all. They're all very good people.
No, I just, you know, I don't want somebody to say strangers walking around.
Oh, no, I mean, they might, I could let them know
Yeah,
it will be
please.
happening.
Let them
Yeah,
know.
sometimes they let me know if they think something odd is going
But
on.
let them know that within the next month, well, actually, we have 2 months.
Right.
Let them know that somewhere in the future,
That we keep-
commissioners may or may not be, I don't know, I'm not gonna knock on 9, 10 doors and say I'm here. But let them know that people may be walking around looking at what you're proposing.
I will do that.
Okay, good.
Am I missing something here? This is
So,
basically.
just to tell you, this is a result of the demolition that happened, which the permit wasn't finalized yet. And as part of the demolition process, there's a wetlands check. And because of that wetlands check and the distance to the river across the street, it became clear that it was in the upland review area, so we needed a plan, and Michael got the silt fencing up right away, so everything kind of went like it needed to, but it started out of sync and kind of
Where I'm
got
going
caught
with
up.
this is there's no need for us to be down around with trailers.
No.
No, this is all up front.
We're just looking at the
All up
silt
front.
fence.
Yeah, and when we move on to, this is more P and Z stuff, but when we move on to extra trailers and site
When
plan,
where
we'll
we went
deal
2
with all
years
that.
ago, in the back.
The only thing we're dealing with is putting a couple posts in for some mailboxes and some fence posts. That's all we're doing within the
And the
regular.
pavement that was removed, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We're
that's done.
backwards now,
So, and it's
Right.
stabilized,
Yeah, there's
so.
really nothing much going on.
So we got a
in
couple
that
fence posts.
100-foot.
Normally, this would probably be an agent determination for some.
I had him roll that in because he was forced to come
I
anyway.
understand, but this one went a little
Yeah, a little haywire.
out of sync with the normal
Can
process,
we
but.
still go to agent determination? I mean, I don't understand why this is gonna take our time.
Why we
It's a
can't
silt
approve
fence
it
is in
tonight?
place, you can drive by and see, it's like the silt
Yeah.
fence is in place and
Why
it's
don't we
a
approve
fence
it
with
tonight?
I'm all for that. A fence with a couple of mailboxes.
Yeah.
Jeff, I think Jeff is uncomfortable. Can I make a suggestion?
Yep.
That we accept the application and rule on it next month, even though he may be asking
We
for
can
an
roll on it without him
extension?
here if you're that comfortable. and-
What's that?
Right, he doesn't need to attend if
Right,
you're
right,
comfortable
yeah.
enough with the information.
All right?
That
That would be wonderful.
Okay?
Yeah, I'd like to move forward, and I do want you to know, I'm sorry that I wasn't here last month. I've had some medical situations, and then I got COVID, so I couldn't come. And
Thanks for us.
You know what's going around?
Yeah.
Really going around.
I am so careful, I can't even tell you, and that's the second time I got it now. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
All right, is there a motion to accept?
Yep, I'll
Go
make a motion to accept application IWWC 25-24, applicant Michael Block, location 928 Main Street, post facto application for removal of auto business building, regrade area, and I guess I'm gonna say also add fence posts and posts for the mailboxes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Jamie? All those in favor of acceptance? Unanimous? Okay, hopefully next month you'll have an answer. And again, if there's something that's gonna come up, Jeff will notify you, and your request for an extension will go in automatically.
Thank you so
If you don't
much.
hear from him, don't worry about it then, okay?
Terrific.
All right, guys.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-oh,
Our next applicant will
this
be
is serious.
teaming in. He had travel plans, and this is a modification, so you can act tonight if you're comfortable. Just give me a few moments.
When do you want to do it? 2131? Oh, I'm sorry, 25, so I'm sorry.
2535.
2535.
Modification of existing.
Permit, okay.
Hey, Jonathan, it's Jeff. Oh, did you disconnect? All right, so you need to re-enter. No, it says you're still connected. Oh, okay, now it says you're leaving, so come back in.
Take down and rebuild the stone wall. Stone, the dirt, the glue. Yeah. 632.
How about this? Why don't I put you on speakerphone? We'll forego the teams and we can just talk in front of you. How's that sound?
Okay.
This is more involved than what.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think of the wrong one.
Yeah, okay, give it another go.
Do that today. by
Yes,
itself.
yes. you are, yeah.
As of right now, no business next month except for this guy that just came before us.
Pencils in for the trip.
All right, I'm admitting you now. You're popped up, so if you can make your camera on and your microphone will be good.
Sidewalk's not straight either.
All right, now we're getting there. All right, let me turn this around.
Open the window.
All right, John, can you still hear us? John, can you hear us?
Apparently not.
John, you gotta turn your microphone on.
You always have to do this.
All right, your mic wasn't on. Listen, we're just gonna do it on speakerphone. Forget about this.
Yeah, so it's just.
All right? All right, hold on. Can everyone hear?
Hello.
Hello.
Want to introduce yourself for the record?
Hi, my name's Jonathan Abrams. We have a house on 632 East Wakefield, and I have an attachment to a file that we already have open that I want you to take a look at.
John, you want to just explain the work for them?
Sure. We want to take the stone wall and by the lake and repair it, which would consist of removing the dirt behind the stone wall, putting it behind a fence, a silt fence, and reconstructing the stone wall and placing cement from behind on the other side of the on the opposite side of the lake, and then filling it in with dirt and putting down sod or of that nature and replacing it.
Is that stone wall a lakefront wall, or is it a wall on ground behind the lakefront?
It's the lakefront wall, yes.
How tall is that wall?
I'm sorry?
How tall is the wall from the wall to the bottom of the lake bed?
I'm not sure, maybe 4 to 5 feet, I guess, just a usual amount. It's pre-existing.
Okay.
Maybe it's 4 to 6 feet, I don't know. Probably 6 feet.
Approximately how wide is your waterfront?
It's 100 feet.
And how much of the wall are you taking down?
Probably, it looks like about 80% of it, because there's trees on one side, that we're not gonna disrupt those. It's just where I have the lawn.
I don't see this as a modification.
This is not a modification, and unfortunately, you're gonna have to get an engineer to design your wall, seeing as we just went through that.
We're just gonna repair it, we're not really taking.
Okay, because anything over 3 feet in the town calls for a design build. But this is not, I can't see where 80% of your frontage is just a modification. So there's gotta be a plan drawn for the wall itself.
Well, what would be considered a modification? I'm unclear then.
The amount of work, it's
I think a reasonable modification might be repointing a section of the wall or tidying up some loose stones in another section of the wall. But when I asked you how much of the wall are you gonna rebuild, you said 80% of it, and you have 100 feet of property. That's not, sort of touching up and, adjusting some weaknesses in the wall. You're taking a wall down.
Okay, well, it's not gonna be, we're not gonna be able to get it in for this season then, if that's what you.
I didn't hear the last statement.
I'm sorry?
I didn't hear your last statement.
Well, I'm trying to just repair the wall, and I thought the best thing would do is take the dirt behind the wall, and we didn't have to remove any stones if that's the issue. I just wanted, there's the way that the wall was constructed, cement was put on the lake side of the wall, and it's crumbling and falling into the lake. So I don't know if repointing the lake side would be the right answer, but we could just do that. Keep the wall, don't take it down, and repoint it, I guess, if that's what it's going to take.
You know what? One of the things that was asked for in the application is a modification of an existing permit. I'm going to suggest that we eliminate the word modification. We accept this as a new application, and we'll accept your application. You'll tell us what you want to do now that you know the parameters of what you may or may not be able to do. And if we have all of the information in our packets by next month, we can vote on the approval or not approving your wall or the way you're presenting it to us. But just by what you're saying, it's really not a modification. Your statement was that you're going to do about 80% of the wall, and that's.
And just to add, the proposal reads, take down and rebuild stone wall.
Right, yeah.
So that's a big job.
That's major work.
Yeah, that's major work. You're bringing a mini excavator down on the property. It's a very steep property. So there's a lot to think about here, and yeah, our strong suggestion is to come in with a designed wall with engineered plans.
Well, you know what, then I won't do it.
Well, you know, our meeting for
Because
October.
the problem is that I know that the guy, the mason I'm using, if it gets into the winter, he's not gonna wanna put cement down anyway, so it'd be too cold.
Right.
So that's not gonna work.
Well, our meeting next month is on the 16th.
I'm not gonna be around, unfortunately, and there's no way I could get onto a Teams call.
Well, we don't wanna take the position of forcing you into withdrawing your application because of the stipulations. Let me ask you a question. Do you need a deep drawdown to do any work on your wall?
Well, yeah, the drawdown, because the problem is there's some cement that's fallen into the lake. So I wanna get rid of that. That's acceptable, right?
Jeff, ask the question, do we need,
John, do you require the deep drawdown to do the wall rebuild? I think that's the question.
Or kind of regular drawdown.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna, then I won't rebuild the wall. It's not gonna work. I just thought that having cement falling into the lake was not a great idea. Maybe he can just repair what's there and not take down any stones. Would that be all right?
if that's,
If that's the way you go, this could be by right maintenance and no application necessary.
The only thing that I would like to do, that I need your permission, was the steps down into the lake are 3 feet. I want to widen it to 6 feet.
No, can't do that.
Well,
Would
yeah,
that be a problem?
that would be considered major work,
Well, also you'd be
and it would have to be,
increasing your footprint into the water. If they
No,
were-
no, it's deep.
Are they into your property or are they into the lake?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Or they come into the property?
That's what the map shows.
But it would still need to be engineered and designed, guys.
Yeah, but it's not repointing.
I mean, the steps are already there. I just want to widen them.
Yeah,
Not
but that's
removing the wall
major
down.
work. You're removing a wall, you're excavating an area, you're putting in steps, that's,
That wouldn't fall under maintenance.
Yeah.
There's the clarification.
All right.
That from repointing your wall, having a mason walking along and repointing and parging, and one little stone fell out, you put it back in, that's legitimate maintenance. But if you're gonna take stairs apart, that's not maintenance, that's,
So if I wanted to widen the stairs, you're saying I need an engineer to approve it and it drawn out?
I don't know if you need an engineer to approve it.
well, he
You
needs a
need to-
Depends
design.
upon-
He needs a design, he
Yeah, we-
needs methods and means,
Yeah.
right? And depending on the nature of the work, he may need an engineer to, approve the plan.
Would a design be sufficient? I'm trying to figure out if I can do it, that's all.
I think the best case scenario is, submit for next month what you'd like us to consider. We'll accept your application tonight, and you know that it's lacking information that we need. If you provide us with that information for next month, then we can move on your application. If you choose not to provide it, or you think it's too cumbersome, or you're not ready to do it, then the application will just go to rest, that's all. It's up to you.
Maybe your mason, would Mason be okay to draw it out?
Yeah, it depends upon what they draw out.
If he draws out a nice plan for us, maybe your mason could do it. He'll show the steps and show what he's gonna fill behind it, and show how it's gonna be done, and how he's gonna protect any erosion.
And then a methods and means narrative needs to correspond with the drawing.
Well, I wrote out a narrative, but that's not sufficient. I just narrow the scope just to the steps. and then just repointing the wall. Would that do it?
My suggestion is you have your mason meet with Jeff and have a conversation, and Jeff will tell you, you know, this is not gonna fly because it's not gonna be approved, and this is likely to be approved because it makes sense to Jeff and at least to him, and we'll go from there. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't wanna discourage you, but I don't wanna give you false hopes either.
All right, I'll have my mason, and well, three of us will meet and see if we can come up with something that would probably be acceptable to the committee.
I'll ask the building official to join us as well, John.
Okay.
And will somebody be present at next month's meeting?
I don't know yet. I'm not gonna be around. Maybe my mason will come. You know, I haven't.
All right, my suggestion is you have a representative here to speak on your behalf.
All right, okay, we'll see. All right, well, thank you.
All right, just stay on board. Is there a motion to accept the application? And not as a modification, just as an application.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Jeff, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept
2535.
2535, 632 East Wakefield Boulevard to repair.
Well, put it in
repair-
and rebuild.
Repair, rebuild existing stone wall.
No, just
Okay.
repair.
Repoint.
Repoint existing stone wall and
And rebuild.
possibly rebuild the steps.
Yeah.
Okay,
Widen the steps, yeah.
okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Gary, all those in favor of accepting?
I'm gonna say no on this. I don't think we have a good enough application.
All right, fine. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yeses. Frank said no. Okay, thank you. Hopefully we'll see somebody next month.
All right.
We should start the clock.
Thank you.
Wait. He's out on the clock. The problem with it is until he comes back and says, you know, you're gonna go to a 6-foot wide step. That's great if you're putting stone this big to build your step. But if you're coming down the slope that he's on and everything, you're gonna come down with granite. 6 foot, it's 1,000 pounds of goddamn piece.
I have a question.
That's what I said.
Can I ask a question? Is staff required to accept an application like this?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. We could say no.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
we can say it's incomplete,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I think
but
it's
it's not
incomplete.
incomplete because he's given us some information.
But it's out there. It's not clear. I mean, it's.
No, I mean, then
I
we
mean,
wouldn't.
Well,
if
let me
we-
put it this way. It's starting the clock, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We just started the clock.
We did.
And he's screwed.
Well, no.
Well, maybe
We'll
not.
find
That's
out.
what I look at it.
I mean,
You know,
he wanted to know if he could do as of right use and, you know, I think
I
Steve's
just
right,
think he
like
could have come back next week with the guy talking to us and start the clock then. That's all I'm saying.
well, yeah, but then he might miss his,
But then, you know what?
Miss his
No, no,
November.
Frank.
then it's November.
If he came back, if we didn't accept it tonight, then next month he'd be starting his application. Then it would be carrying into November at best,
Yeah,
so.
Double-edged sword.
so it's a
All right,
trick. I
agent
think we did the
determinate.
best we could with the situation.
No,
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah, IWWC 25-28, Brian Boothhiller at 212 East Wakefield Boulevard. I visited the site, and he's repointing existing lake wall. It seemed like a pretty minor, so that's good to go. Same with IWWC 25-34, applicant Michael Von Connoworth at 624 East Wakefield. Similar situation, pointing and repair a couple loose stones in the lake wall. We did have a couple other as-of-right determinations, didn't make it to the agenda, I know for sure. The Sabias, I forget their address, came in with a very nice package, showed everything. I said, you saved me all the work, go ahead, you're all set. And
What's he doing, man? What's Sabia doing?
just some minor wall repair work, yeah. And then down to violations, 139 West Wakefield Boulevard, which is Michelle Babbage. The court date is next Friday at 3 o'clock, and I will be appearing via telephone and we'll have more for you after that, I guess. Happy to report, never put the dock in this season.
Yeah.
The for sale sign's still up. That might be working itself out.
Yeah.
Did Joe Biondi, Jed Biondi, did they?
They never did
review
anything.
what
From
the
last month, we didn't accept
We
their
didn't accept the
application.
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything.
I didn't bring it, so you can throw it, you said you can throw it away unless,
All right, next one.
all right. Anything with, Public Works, Jeff?
Yeah, I called Jim today, this morning, he called me back, I didn't get the call, but he did leave a pretty detailed message.
How detailed is we're not doing anything?
No, he's got 3 things that he was, happy to report. Let me see if I can find it. All right, Jim Rollins, I'm not gonna make the wetlands meeting tonight, but 3 things to give you an update. We just put in a couple of 4-foot deep sumps at West Wakefield Boulevard, right by Forest Avenue. The driveway at 815 East Wakefield Boulevard is out to bid. And the drainage for that driveway is going in, is up to bid, and the drainage for that driveway is going in.
That would be a big accomplishment.
Yes, that would be.
That's a big one.
And then, so you'll probably next week see some progress on that, so that's really all I got. There's 3 things. 4-foot sumps at West Wakefield. Oh, okay, so it's the driveways going out to bid next week, and then the 3rd thing was the drainage by that driveway.
Okay,
Drainage where?
by the
By
driveway.
815.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
right
yeah.
by Dutton's house. the
That's a
whole-
mess.
The whole
Yeah,
strip
yeah.
down there.
That's great.
It's a mess.
But I saw the one house went on the market a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
The lights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grow Lighthouse, it's on the market.
Do we ever get a report from the selectmen?
No, you saw him here a couple meetings back to back, and that's it, yeah.
He's not the liaison, is he?
Troy.
Oh, Troy was
No,
here.
Troy wasn't here last month.
But
No, a couple.
Bill Hester was here, yeah.
Yeah, Bill came for fun.
Yeah.
Are we getting any more update in terms of how significant the wake boats and the buoys are in the lake?
So we have scheduled a meeting with Deep. It started as a buoy discussion, but now we're shifting to get more information from them. As well, there's been talk of putting together, maybe not a full ad hoc committee, but representatives from like the Water Level Committee and probably from Wetlands to discuss this issue more fully. I think we're gonna have these talks over the winter,
Okay, good.
So
see where we go with that.
a friend of mine sent me something from, and I didn't look into it deeper, but apparently the Water Sports Industry Association, WSIA, has done some extensive research on this. So that may be another avenue for us.
or they're? Send it to
Well,
Jeff.
I think, I sent him a text back, I said, am I looking at the whole thing? It's only 5 notes. And it looks like something that should be, several pages long. And he just sent back
Ask him to send it, ask him to send a printed copy to
He
you.
didn't have it. He said WSI has done research on wake damage to lakes. Seems like Center and Third Bay is a logical place for wake sports. I guess there are rebuttals to some info being presented to IWC towns with lakes. Seems like there will be a small window for town state to get in. That he didn't really have anything, but there is another source for
All right, see
information on
what
it.
you can get. If you get it,
Okay,
give
I'll
it to
look.
Jeff.
He's making that shit up.
Jeff, even if you just send me the acronyms, I'll look it up.
He wants to get the wakeboard boats away from him and put them down in front
Yeah,
of him.
by you, that's all he's trying. Yeah, just the southernmost point of Third Bay.
That's the only feasible
So we're gonna have,
location.
we're gonna have wars between the bays. War between the bays.
I should have brought it up under agenda review, and I just didn't think of it. We still need a liaison to Highland Lake Watershed Association.
I mean, do you want me to be both? Because I'm on the board of the Watershed
That's why we get
Association.
the
I think,
first-hand information.
I mean, if you're comfortable with
No,
that.
hang on. I
Okay.
think we should have 2 people.
Yeah, I agree.
That makes more sense if Mary Ann
Because
is
it's checks and
willing to
balances. If
serve.
I forget something.
Yeah, and I would suggest that there be a second person.
Someone from Wetlands who's not me.
Jamie, good
Jamie!
girl. There you go.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
But if
Okay.
you do want a little report, I can give you the latest and greatest. One piece of good news, the Highland Lake Watershed Association worked closely with the state of Connecticut to put retention basins at the boat launch. And after that really super heavy rain we had 2 weekends ago, they were doing their job. So
good.
that's great news. We went and checked on them and they're doing their job. The divers were in the lake a couple weeks ago. They found two milfoil plants, and they pulled them. And
Where were they?
they were in First Bay, in the cove that's not the cove where the beach is.
Okay, Sandy Cove, I think they make it
Yeah.
called.
Um,
In front of your, my old place,
I might be getting ahead of myself, but I'll just say that I've been approached by several people in my capacity as a board member on Highland Lake Watershed Association. I have been asked about a boat washing station. Lots of different people have been asking about it. So, we will probably make research on a boat washing station, a winter project for the Wetlands Association to do a bunch of research on it. I mean, what we know is the state of Connecticut owns the boat launch. And what we also know is the representative from the state of Connecticut who's typically there are real limitations regarding what he thinks, or he's been told his job description is. But we also know that if milfoil gets in the lake, we're doomed. So, I think people are concerned with good reason. They can see how the plants grow if you don't treat, right? This year, there was only spot treatment, so there've been a lot of complaints about the plants because by the end of the summer, they were tickling a lot of
I
toes.
didn't think there was any treatment this year.
There was spot treatment.
Do they understand how it works in New York State? The way it works in New York State is before you get to the boat ramp, you go to like a station where you get the boat washed, they tag it, and then you go to the boat ramp. If that tag is locked, the guy at the boat ramp unlocks it, boat goes in. If that tag isn't there, you're not allowed in.
Oh, yeah, I mean, a lot of states are
So
like
it's,
this.
I'm saying, this boat washing station is not gonna be part of the boat ramp. It's gonna be another facility before you get to where you wanna get with the unloading the boat.
Okay.
Well,
We need state action.
that'll go into our research, Frank. That's a good
Betcha.
piece of information, because maybe that's something that the town can take upon themselves.
I bet you Eric at the marina would be interested in putting a boat washing station in.
I had that idea for them in the past. I reached out to the folks down at Candlewood Lake, and they had a big meeting with Deep, and they were trying a similar thing, and they didn't get anywhere with it.
With Deep.
With Deep, yeah.
Yeah, the state won't pay for it.
Boat washing station. No, that's to charge the boat, charge the boat.
They wash it with something that makes the plant life inert and kills it. Do they
Yeah.
wash it with that, or they just wash it off?
No, no.
Because if they just wash it off, like at Eric's, it would go into the Mad River.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, see, it's gotta be.
Oh, no, a boat washing,
You have to go into the
it's a,
sanitary sewer.
it's a super, super specific
But
thing.
even that, then if they're using a soap or something like that, it's gotta be in an area that's got sewers.
Correct.
So they'd have to go into the sewer, right?
Or it has to have its own treatment.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why they're so expensive, right? That's why the state doesn't wanna do those.
Best place for it.
It's not as
Best place
simple,
for it is
it's not somebody washing, it's not as simple.
You're washing a whole lot of beer.
Anyway, okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of research to be done. So,
Cherry bar,
I think we've sort of
Indian
rippled
Meadow.
the waters, and we're stimulating interest. There's talk on Facebook, not Facebook, on Highland Lake Facebook Marketplace about wakeboards and buoys, so people are starting to listen to the show, so to speak, because no one's in the audience here to observe. But they know that we're looking at it and contemplating some kind of approach to enforcement, whatever that word means in reality down the road. So I'm glad we're moving ahead, and we're doing it with due diligence, that's all. Good, thank you.
Are we talking about the dock and mooring ordinance? Because it's on
I was
here.
just gonna bring that up.
We
Yeah.
never really got to it because the meetings always go long. You might have seen in Jeremy's report sort of the status of that. It got punted back to you guys.
I
So,
didn't see that. Why didn't-
yeah,
you
it's
know what, I didn't know
at
that
the
from
very
you.
end of the report there.
Well, so basically, I was at a couple meetings where this was discussed. The Board of Selectmen wanted to change some of the language that this commission suggested to just define what lifts, so not just to say vessel lifts, but to say jet ski, right? Jet ski lifts, boat lifts. I think that was the language they wanted.
It back to more.
They
of the
wanted
original.
to tweak and send back, but as part of that, they're also asking to add something additional, which is a waiver provision in the dock and mooring ordinance.
We brought this up, and I discussed this at length with Paul. We discussed this here because we've gotten out of a lot of tight situations by only being authorized to make variances on littoral borders.
I'm totally in agreement with you,
Okay.
and I'm gonna just tell you guys my thoughts on this, because I wrote them down. So, the argument was, we should be able to consider waiver requests because of potential safety issues. So, my first question is, who defines what a potential safety issue is? Who, is it a water safety officer? When you go for a waiver with ZBA, an engineer has to come to the property and deliver all of the evidence of hardship. So who would be the equivalent of an engineer? Is it a water safety person who hires them, who pays for them? So that's question number one. How would the evidence of hardship or safety, that argument, be made? And I also, this is a commission of volunteers. We're not necessarily, qualified to determine what a navigational hazard is or isn't. In terms of the pier tonight, the determination was take it all out, right? Because we know if it's not there, it's no longer a safety issue.
That's kind of a simple thing, because anything that protrudes out past the wall is a navigational safety hazard. And if it protrudes out with our thing at 40 feet, if you go 50, it's worse.
It's worse, right. So I think that this could expose the town to legal action if we're required to make decisions about something like this, and then we make a decision and there's an accident. The other thing to remember is when docks were put in this lake initially, we didn't control the water level. The pin factory controlled the water level. And there was a lot of bare lake bed. People had to have docks to get out to the water. Now we control the water level, and we're really lucky. We have a lot of depth in this lake. There really aren't a lot of waterfronts with, tiny amounts of depth right at their walls. So, I think that's probably why the docks ended up being as long as they are. So that was just a note. So what else?
The only thing though is if we start to allow for waivers, I mean, people are very creative, and we're gonna be dealing.
Well, that's the other problem.
We're never gonna get home at 10:30 at night
No.
on any meeting,
And
because
also,
everybody will appeal to us.
If one person wants a 50-foot dock and their neighbors don't want the 50-foot dock, then we've got hour-long public hearings
Listen,
on one application.
We have a tough time controlling what we have.
You're not
That
kidding.
Same thing as the application earlier, where the guy said my wall's 4 to 5 feet. Okay, we want it engineered, we want everything. This guy, my wall's 5 feet, nobody comes up with the fact it's gotta be engineered. You know what I mean? We're not laying the cards down even over here sometimes.
Let me just give a little history. I guess 2 years ago, we got a submission, just photographs. Somebody gave you photographs about extending the 50-foot dock. And we said, how come? And he wanted to do some sort of easement agreement with his neighbor. He is now now one of the select?
Mary Ann's brother.
What?
Mary Ann's brother.
Yeah. Well, yes.
And you know what?
Listen,
And
that's
you know
not,
what?
I didn't know that.
that's not, so guys,
Let you know there.
that's, you wanna be entertained, come to the Board of Selectmen meetings I attend. No, but, he said,
I can only imagine.
he said in the meeting, that's no secret, he said out loud in the meeting that he wants a 50-foot dock. You know, I think he and anybody else who has been on the lake, he's been on the lake 50 years when he bought his property. He knew the kind of property he was buying. So I just don't think that's a strong argument, because you have the opportunity to,
You know what? I
to
think-
assess the dock and mooring ordinance when you buy a property, even if you are a newbie. I mean, in his case, it
That
wasn't.
issue with a waiver for any and all issues that an individual may create was put at rest when we didn't entertain the conversation.
Yeah.
We said, it,
We
we're not gonna, you know,
We discussed it
our,
several
our
months
ordinance
ago.
says the only waiver liberty we have is with the littoral boundary, and we think that's sufficient, and it addresses everything we're concerned about.
And we're already struggling with people putting these markers out to try to keep
Well, that's
boats
the buoy.
away.
That's the buoy issue.
Yeah, away from their waterfront because of the increased wave action. You have longer docks, you're pushing more boats into the middle. We're gonna create safety issues.
And we had an application probably 10 or 12 years ago where it was a handicapping condition. And we denied the waiver, and they decided they wanted to take us to court, and I don't think that it ever went anywhere. You know, I mean, you just can't, you know, we're a commission of volunteers, and we have rules and guidelines that we're obligated to enforce.
But we'd rather not rewrite them to, yeah.
No,
Individual.
no. And you know what, with regard to that ordinance, we made, I thought, major concessions to the public, you know, the homeowners on the lake, where we said you can have two kinds of lifts. We weren't specific.
Right,
You know,
but
you
that's not even changed yet, because they're trying
But
to
again,
add
well,
this to
then,
it.
you know what, then Jeff has got some work to do, because there's people
Yeah.
that got boats on two boat lifts.
Well, I'm
you know.
gonna recommend that we do, because you're doing an assessment anyway, right, this winter of the lakefront because of the bog
Yeah.
issue, that we add to that assessment, a review, we take stock of how much there is around the lake, and I knew I was gonna suggest this to you guys, so what I did on the morning of Labor Day was I took my boat and I went around the whole lake and I videotaped every single waterfront parcel, and I can screenshot all of them and create a spreadsheet. It's gonna be a big job, I can help do it. And we should catalog everything that's there, and then understand what's permitted and what isn't permitted.
It's a big job.
We need 6 Jeffs.
Yeah, it's a big job.
Or one me.
Okay.
You know, the other thing I might want to suggest is ask the selectmen's liaison to wetlands to come and sit in front of us.
Yeah, well, he's not
No.
really the one proposing this.
Well, again, you know, let them sit in front of us. Let them bring back a first-hand conversation about what we think about
How
the
would that
waivers.
go? How would the selectmen come back to us and get our opinion? How would that, what's the process there, Jeff?
Well, let's not forget, an ordinance is driven by the selectmen.
Right.
It's
So-
approved by them.
No, they set the ordinance.
Yeah, but,
So they could take your recommendations or not.
well, Attorney Nelligan
Can
kicked
they
it.
write the ordinance, rewrite it?
They
That's
can,
in their
Let 'em.
discretion.
but
There'd
Attorney
be a lot
Nell,
of vacancies.
Attorney Nelligan's recommendation to them was to bring it back to us.
If a waiver were to happen, he thought it should lie with this body. So I can see both sides of that, but
This body
If
doesn't
a
want it.
waiver, but there's endless possibilities of waivers.
right.
Yeah, we,
It's quite a can of worms.
This guy over here in front of us tonight said, well, I want a waiver, I don't want an engineer, well, waiver for me, you know, give me a waiver.
Right.
You know, now we give him a waiver, why not?
I mean, yeah, it would, yeah, I mean, and to draft something that's even remotely like the ZBA,
Then we need a whole
Yeah.
second body.
Correct. Then you'd need a whole second body like the ZBA that only
Wetlands
deals.
Board of Appeals.
Yes.
Coming up, so you know where to vote.
Get a little carried away.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All those in favor?
We're all in favor.
There we go.
Hey, good meeting, Steve.
That's gonna take you forever to die.
Look at that, 10 and 10.
You know what? It'll take the winter.
Business.
You know, little at a time, just, it's first screenshotting everything. It's like 600 properties, so it's
It's not
like
uncommon to
screenshotting
establish
everything,
wetlands
then
or to
go after the
restore, I mean, these guys work in
We'll take
rivers
the
all the
screenshots
time,
and
they
put them
work
in
in
a
bodies of
spreadsheet.
water.
right?
In my opinion,
And then,
the less cement in the lake, the
identify
better off
what's
it is.
there.
And the way
We
we
did
did
Labor
it
Day,
with
so once before
having,
everything got
Tell me
taken
that's
out.
safer, is to have that jetty
Then
there than to
drive
not.
around the lake, get the addresses. Right, some of them we know, but the
You
ones
know
we
what
don't
it does?
know,
It
put in
creates
all of the
a little
addresses.
swimming area.
And then,
Because there's
if
a
you
jetty
guys have a
and there's a jetty.
database of what's permitted,
It's all
I
their
can
property
build
to
an AI agent
Stanley
that can
Jetty.
compare our spreadsheet to your.
It's in their way.
To your.
You know what I mean? They
And
now
it'll
have
do it in 5
10 more
minutes.
feet
So there's the
of
first problem.
waterfront.
We don't have a database.
Okay.
You know, we've got paper files back there.
But the way,
Some of
the
them
way
go
it was
back to
having the soil
registration
scientists make
forms,
sure
Okay.
it's
grandfather
reestablished, we
forms.
did
Right,
everything
so
by the
that,
book with
so
that.
that would
And
take
Gary,
a lot of
kicked it out right
time
away.
on your guys' part.
Who did the
But
dirt?
like,
Who
if
done the
you were
dirt?
gonna do it,
Just with the
then
way
it is an
having the soil
opportunity to build a
scientists sign off on
Yeah.
the,
What we need is
on that
Yeah.
for that
here.
purpose.
An
Because
intern,
now,
yeah,
Tommy,
can
you
you
got-
get an
You
intern?
work in rivers, you
Tom
work in
upstairs
lakes.
has one right now,
Right.
so I need to explore this.
Because I can do that first part for you as a volunteer, so you don't have to pay anybody to do that.
Right.
It'll just take time,
Yeah,
but
then
I
I just
can.
need to build our side of it.
Yeah, and then I can hand it off to you, and maybe that gives you several months to see if you can line up an intern.
Yeah.
And then I'm good with a deadline, so you're like, Mary Ann, my intern's coming in April, I need it done by then. I get it done by then.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. Hey, so Willie told me that, you guys are now no longer trying to do an overlay, watershed overlay.
Well, so what happened was, it seems like the scope of what we're talking about
Good night.
is so wide that it's really
Because the whole
not.
town is an
Yeah.
overlay.
So really, we need to address the regulations holistically for the town.
Right.
Because if we overlay here and here and there and there, you know, there's one little sliver that doesn't apply to, so
Well,
what's the
that,
difference?
well, yeah, because Jeremy said, like, what are the definitions of the watershed? So I sent it to him, and he was like, well, that's the whole town.
Exactly.
Because you've got Mad River, and you've got all these rivers, and, but I think it would be weird to just do the lake. Like, if I'm on Lake Winchester, and I notice that you guys have put an overlay zone over Highland Lake, then I'm gonna say, well, how come my lake doesn't have it?
Yeah, or like that you don't have it because it's a little more relaxed. But, you know, like I said, there's so much water around here, it really
Right.
needs to address the
So
whole town.
is it being addressed?
Well, the conversation hasn't stopped. It's just how best to implement what we're going.
Okay, okay.
And, you know, so I was starting to make a little bit of a pitch for either an extra, a new body, or then my thought was to enhance the water level ad hoc committee to have this group that could work on all these kinds of things, have some wetlands representation, all that kind of thing.
Good idea.
I thought it was a good idea. So maybe I'll bring it back up after the election.
Yeah.
Because right now it's not going anywhere. you
Well,
know?
the nature of the Board of Selectmen is not gonna change.
No, I
right?
know.
There are only 2 Democrats running.
Exactly.
So it's gonna be the same guys. So you might as well start bringing it up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fine idea. Where I think I might have lost the argument is when I suggested that since Candy will be stepping down from the Board of Selectmen, then she would be a great member on this board. Maybe I should have kept that to myself.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely.
Uh-huh.